bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, y'all, welcome to Happy Tuesday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and I should say this wonderful, beautiful outside Tuesday, because it's like, what, 74 degrees in New York. But anyway, it's your boy, Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including I have some CinemaCon news, some movies that were announced. We'll get into that. Plus, we have an idea of who Adria Arjona, I don't even know how to say her name, Adria Arjona, is going to be playing. There were rumors she's playing Maxima. There was rumors she's playing Wonder Woman. We're going to get to the bottom of it because it's been exclusively reported by Variety, so we'll get into that. Plus, some people got to see some footage, some lucky people at CinemaCon got to see some footage for Zach Cregger's Resident Evil movie. I have a breakdown of that. Plus, y'all know there is a remake or a sequel, I'm not sure what it's going to be, of Sleepaway Camp, and Felissa Rose, who played Angela in the original movie, says that there's a character from the original movie she wants to play in this upcoming film, and I'll let you know who that is. We'll get into that. Plus, the American Music Awards were announced. Taylor Swift is leading the nomination, so we'll get into that. Um, Madonna, we got to talk about the Queen of Pop because it looks like it's being confirmed that she is dropping the new single this week, and I may have an exclusive inside tea on when the album is coming out because she scrubbed the Instagram. It looks like there's some people online who are like fans of Madonna that have like their own fan sites, whatever, have been connecting the dots. Things have been leaking. There's like some stuff that came out over Brazil. She got a new picture and audio that's over on the website. We're gonna break it on down because yes, the queen is coming, and it looks like it's official. But even though she ain't confirmed, everybody else is. Now we also got to talk about apparently Lena Dunham. Y'all know from that show Girls that was big over there on HBO, has a new book. I don't know if it's out or if it's coming out, but she's spilling tea about her tumultuous relationship with Adam Driver, spilling tea on him, and admitting she cheated on Jack Antonoff. So we'll talk about that. Plus, Kevin Federline out here trying to maintain some type of relevancy in the news by trying to speak on Britney going to rehab. And plus, I may have some tea on that. They're saying that Britney went to rehab on her own accord. That might not be entirely truthful. I'll say that I'll give you insight according to reports on who may have been the culprits. There's a clue there. And who may have gotten her to go to rehab. So we have that. Plus, Kanye West can't seem to keep himself out the news, but that fallout going over there at the UK where he was, the festival cancellation. Look like they're trying to ban him from France as well. So we got that. Plus, he's been accused of assaulting someone at the Chateau Marmont. King Harris, who was the son of T.I. and Tiny Harris, ended up getting arrested wearing a damn SpongeBob outfit. Or a Pokemon onesie, I should say. Joey Fat One is talking about that Boy Band Confidential show that I think is already first part came out, another part is coming out tonight. Spilling tea about how his finances were post NSYNC, and he was out here on the struggle bus. Plus, Lance Bass is sharing a moment where Joey Fatone discovered he was a homosexual. So we'll get into that. Plus, Cade Maddox is on the cover of Playgirl. Child. Well, if y'all watch his stuff, y'all already know what the peen looked like. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that story. And I don't know if y'all caught the new Malcolm in the Middle series yet, the reboot quote, I guess we can call it, or continuation. And apparently people are upset because Stevie got himself a man and a child, and people are all like losing their damn mind because they say, oh, he liked girls in the beginning of the show when he was little. Well, he grown now and he like dick. So variety is the spice of life, as I like to say. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. Before we get to them topics, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I did see that Robert C said he's not getting notifications. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. YouTube be playing in my face because it looked like there's something going on over there. So if you can just like probably unsubscribe, resubscribe. I don't know. It's just been, weird with I don't even know how to explain that, but yeah. So it's a happy Madonna Day to those who celebrate. Chris is in Chelsea smelling those wonderful men's. Chris who? And you said Madonna, J. Lou, Barry Manilow, Vans, Barbara Streisand. Like, wait, what? What's this about? He said more remakes, Lord. Mhm. Um, Kanye has been on a losing streak for the past 5 years. He had the number one sneaker in the world and managed it. Well, he did that after he started coming out with that anti-Semitic mess. Diamond is up in the building. Excuse me. Isn't the youngest kid non-binary? Because I thought I had heard there is a character on the show that is non-binary. And I believe that they said that they came to that conclusion because the writers, the people that's a part of the show are raising queer children. So they're coming in with their experience, which of course you got fucking probably a bunch of incels on Twitter getting all upset. But we'll get to that story when it comes around to it. But anyway, let me put y'all comments in the thing because I always be forgetting to hit that. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff as I said before. Wait, that's not was that it? Yeah. I was like, was that the banner? Yes, it's the banner. Okay, let me hit the banner, which I already did. Without further ado, let's get into topic number one. And that is apparently there was an announcement that was made at there was a a Studio Canal presentation at CinemaCon. Now, Studio Canal, I believe, produced the original Escape from New York, I believe, or whatever. But anyway, and they, they're in charge of a lot of like classic films and things of that nature. So they announced that they're gonna partner with the picture company to develop a reimagining of John Carpenter's Escape from New York, and they're developing a reimagining of Joe Dante's The Howling, which as we were doing a show yesterday, that was brought up in the conversation. So so I was like, let me just get the info and make a story out of it today because these are two movies that I absolutely like. So the company they revealed, as I said, the news at the annual trade convention, CinemaCon, which is basically like a convention for people who work in the movie, well, not movie industry, but the movie theater industry. So it's like you come to the theater owners, whatever. You give basically a presentation for those who don't know who CinemaCon is. You give a presentation. Warner shows up, Universal, all the big studios. It'll be interesting to see Paramount with the mess they're in, how their presentations go. That's the one I'm more excited, not excited in a good way, but I should probably say that's the one I'm I'll say more interested in wanting to see because with the mess that Paramount has been and them trying to, basically buy Warner Brothers and the controversy behind that. And I told you there's over 1,000 celebrities. Funny enough, I totally forgot to bring that story up again. Um, over 1,000 celebrities and people who work in the industry who have signed a petition because they said they don't want um they don't want this merger to happen because people are going to lose a lot of jobs, particularly a lot of excuse me, particularly a lot of people who work in behind the scenes, like the boomers and not boomers, like the people of a certain age, but people who work the booms, people who work in the laborers, I should say, they're more worried about them losing jobs. And quiet as it's kept, a lot of there's a lot of empty lots in LA. Like a lot of people are filming overseas. It seems like the UK is scooping up a lot of work for a lot of American movies because it's cheaper. Same thing with Canada. So a lot of that is happening. There's not a lot of work being done in the US. So that's basically what that is. It's a convention for people who are in the cinema industry, like the movie theater industry. So the original film story, as you know, is set in the future, or maybe you don't know if you haven't watched it a million times like I have, where the U.S. has become a totalitarian, theocratic police state, and basically the island of Manhattan is a walled up maximum security prison. So what had happened was in the original film, Snake Plissken, who was like basically a war hero and was in prison, they basically was like you can pretty much get released from prison, whatever the case is, if you go inside because they try to send military in this to rescue the president, played by the late Donald Pleasance. He there were some radicals that basically hijacked the plane. He escaped in a pod, crashed on Manhattan Island, the prison, got captured by Isaac Hayes and them because Isaac Hayes was the dude. And look, one thing I love about that movie is the limousine he's in with the chandeliers. That was some shit back in the day. I know people kind of look at that. Oh, that is so corny. It was cool. Like when you watch stuff like that and you're a kid, you look at stuff like that as okay, that's like a cool thing. And I mean, John Carpenter, and you may not know, is like one of my all-time favorite directors. Yeah, he's had some clunkers later in his career, but for the most part, The Thing, Escape from New York, of course, Halloween, the original, The Fog, as I said, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China, even his movie Vampires with annoying ass James Woods, his Trumpian ass, who all of a sudden now want to wake up and not be Republican no more. But yeah, James Wood, even that movie, I absolutely that's a favorite of mine. It doesn't get as much love and recognition, but I love that film. And damn, what was the other movie that he did? Where the Asian guy from Big Trouble in Little China was in it, and Victor Wong from Tremors, and they was in it, and they basically went to this building, and it was like this green ooze that was in a container, and it was like I guess the essence of Satan, and they were trying to revive him or whatever. I can't remember the name of the movie. It might be called Prince of Darkness or something like that. I love that movie too. But anyway, so let me get off my John Carpenter love train. But so I love that movie. To me, they've always been trying to remake this film over the years, especially we've heard Gerard Butler was one of the people that was supposed to take on the Plissken role. I don't necessarily know if Kurt Russell's going to come back. I mean, Kurt Russell's still alive. He still looks good. He's just older. But it kind of makes, and I kind of think that maybe, you know what, maybe they should maybe they should bring Kurt Russell back into the film because you can kind of do it where we're in a period in Hollywood where you're seeing like these aged action movie stars that are having a resurgence where you're seeing a lot of men of a certain age who still out here doing action. So maybe they could still have it unless y'all want to create like a continuous franchise. I mean, I don't know if y'all want to possibly look at Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he could be an interesting choice. And Chris, I think, needs to get into action, like stick with action, because we love his distraction movies. These other films that he tries to do, that what was it called? That Crime 101 movie. It was actually good. I saw it the other day. It's on Prime Video after like a month in the theater, and y'all basically let that movie flop. The movie him and Halle Berry, I actually enjoyed it, but y'all didn't care. Nobody went to go see it. So maybe he needs to just people like him as Thor, and he can't play Thor forever. But maybe they can have him come up in there and do the action. But anyway, they said no further information was revealed about the project. Numerous attempts to remake the property have taken place over the years with the likes of, oh my God, I'm glad they didn't get it. Radio Silence, Lee Winnell, Robert Rodriguez. I would love to have seen his version. I think that was the one he was supposed to do with Gerard Butler. And Luther creator Neil Cross were all involved. And I like Escape from New York. I don't know if I want a reboot of it, but if they can figure out how to make it work, if they can get it right, if y'all can get real gritty with the action and keep it straightforward and to the point, and really talk about the politics of the world today, because it is a political action movie, especially if you watch the original one. And that's where I feel a lot of times John Carpenter comes with a lot of his movies and stuff. There's always some type of political statement he's making about the state of the world in a lot of his movies, if you actually pay attention. So but The Howling. Now they're supposed to be making a movie of The Howling. I love the original movie. I watched it not too long ago. But I'm really hoping what they do with The Howling is that we get practical effects with this film because I don't want CGI werewolves. The one thing that look, I love Underworld with Kate Beckinsale. The werewolves in that movie bothered me because it was just CGI. I don't like, and maybe there were moments where it was practical and they try to mix the CGI up in there, but I didn't like the CGI stuff because it looked a little clunky. I like the idea of, you know what, make practical things, have like puppeteers who can make the mouths move and all this other stuff, and really have like 7 foot, 8 foot athletes come up in there and play the werewolves. There's plenty of tall men that y'all can find that can play these characters. I'm sure you could go to Scandinavia and find enough 6 foot, 7 foot men that can play these, and then they put stilts on to make them taller. So um, that's where I hope they go with that. And if they have an interesting idea in regards of this film, as well as The Howling, I'd be interested in checking this out. But for those who have not ever saw The Howling. What the film was about, that movie came out in 1981. Funny enough, that was the movie I felt like pioneered with the werewolf effects and stuff. I know a lot of people try to give the credit to American Werewolf in London. What people need to realize is that even though both movies came out in 1981, technically, and who knows when they shot it and who, whatever, or who kicked off the shooting of the film first. But all I know is which movie came out first. And the first movie that came out was The Howling. And then months later, we got American Werewolf in London, which people do still to this day still talk about that transformation scene. So the 1981 movie starred Dee Wallace as a newswoman who, after an encounter with a serial killer, is sent to a remote mountain resort whose residents may not be what they seem. Together with an American Werewolf in London, also released in '81, the film gave us some of the best werewolf effects ever seen. So, um, as I said, they both came out in '81, but like I said, The Howling came out first. So I'm actually looking forward to both movies. If y'all can make it work, if y'all can get good writers and a good director and all the good enough people that can make it work, and it all depends on who y'all cast. Now, as far as like The Howling, you can pretty much go wherever you want with that story. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to follow a newswoman who's being stalked and come to find out the stalker was a damn werewolf. Um, and what her connection to him was. You can go wherever you want with that. Now, Escape from New York, like I said, it's got to maintain its political side to the whole situation. Like, you can't just make a movie about a man going into a wall prison, because you could pretty much talk about prison reform and how prison has been treated as a for-profit type situation. It's been privatized. Like, you can bring all of that type of political talk about the prison system and the way they treat people and make it even more futuristic, but really like real gritty with the action, like grounded gritty action. That's what we want. So shout out to both movies. I'll be curious to see how they make it all work. But anyway, in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all what you guys think of this story. Are you looking forward to seeing either one of these movies? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Excuse me. Can cats and dogs be binary? They might be. I mean, who knows? Cleveland's in the building. Hola, mi gente. Mm-mm. Ellison said, "Anybody against the merger, I'll add you to the." Oh, fuck him. Well, then you run out of people to have in your movies, and then I guess we'll be getting AI characters, and the company will continue to flop. Have you ever heard of Ashley Jensen? Just heard about her online, and her husband has been arrested. Mm-mm. Who's that? Oh, so I guess that was the name. Because I be forgetting names, but I'm like, yeah, Prince of Darkness. I was watching that not too long ago too. When it I don't know if it's still on Shutter, but that's where I was watching it. It was Shutter, and I think it was also on Prime Video. I do. That's all I was talking about. You said you look strange being the only one walking into a movie. How? Who said that? You're saying you look strange. How can you be the strange being the only one? You go into the movies. You go into the movies. Nobody's caring about all that, whether or not you're the only one. When I saw, and I saw it late though. When I went to go see The Housemaid, it was me and I think three people. It was like four of us in the theater. But that was like at the end because I had waited so long to finally see it. So I guess everybody that wanted to see the movie already saw it. But yeah, I like going to the movies, and I don't care if I'm the only one in there. Oh, well, I'm like, I feel like I'm VIP. I got the theater to myself. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our next topic. And let's talk about some DC news. So it looks like it's been confirmed, according to Variety, after James Gunn called all the trades a damn liar for this story anyway. This is why I look at James Gunn as like, sir, just stick to the mogling, the filmmaker ideas. Stop getting on threads, stop getting on social media, being very combative, being condescending, what you're saying. But apparently, word on the street, and this is from Variety, because the other day it came out. I know I'm jumping the gun, but the other day a story came out that there were, well, Deadline put three women. The Hollywood Reporter put four women who were up for the role of, they said Maxima. Some people thought it might have been a cover for Wonder Woman, that some of these could be playing Wonder Woman, some of these could be playing Maxima. A lot of people also thought, including myself, that Adria Arjona would be playing Wonder Woman, because that's kind of been the rumor for a while that she was going to be playing Wonder Woman. Well, now it's been confirmed from Variety, and we'll see what it takes for um, James Gunn to get on social media, aka Threads, to deny this story. But so who the hell? Hold on. I don't know why people are sitting up in here calling me. This is the shit that annoys me with people. It's like, don't be calling my damn phone. Anyway, I'm back. I was like, I had to turn my phone off because I'm just still like, don't be calling me when I'm working. But anyway, um, so yeah, so I guess according to Variety, now they're saying that Andor star Adria Arjona has joined the cast of Man of Tomorrow, and she is playing Maxima. So fans have previously expressed that Arjona will make a great Wonder Woman, me included, and the DC Studios co-chief agreed. But it turns out that the part was perfect. That this part was perfect for the Andor star. Now, last week, Variety reported, among others, that Arjona tested for a key role. Maxima is an alien queen who has been both an antagonist and a potential love interest for Superman in the comics. And the people that she tested aside was Eva De Dominici from The Cleaning Lady. I think that show is done. Sydney Chandler, who's Kyle Chandler's daughter, she was from Alien Earth, and Grace Van Patten from Tell Me Lies. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. And he said a deal was said to be imminent with cameras about to roll on set in Atlanta as production got underway. And the movie is set to come out next year on July 9th. That's July 9th, 2027. In case you forgot, using 2026. Now, Superman Man of Tomorrow, written and directed by Gunn, David Cornsweet, and Nicholas Holt, return as the Man of Steel and Lex Luthor. However, this time the legendary adversaries are forced to work together to defeat an even bigger threat, the super intelligent antagonist Brainiac, which will be played by German star Lars Eidinger. The ensemble cast also features Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen. I actually liked this Jimmy Olsen last movie. Sarah Sampaio, Eve Teschmacher, Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl, Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner, Eddie Guthage as Mr. Terrific, and Aaron Pierre, who y'all know is going to be playing John Stewart, aka Green Lantern. So he has been, this will be, I guess, his. I was gonna say no, it can't be his introduction because his introduction will be in the show. If they're shooting this now, they're just gonna, I guess, give him more to do in this film. We'll see how big his role is. Also, I don't know if y'all know this, but this is cool because at least she and her boyfriend got something in common. They both are DCU superheroes. Now, if y'all don't know who her boyfriend is none other than Jason Momoa. So he got a type. Because if you look at Adria, she looked like Lisa Bonet. They all kind of fit within that wheelhouse of each other. So Jason got a type. And he's playing Lobo because before he was Aquaman, I thought his Aquaman was, I mean, I liked his Aquaman because it was different. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing his Lobo in the new Supergirl movie, which is coming out in June of this year. Now, Arjona, as you know, is best known in the world of genre. She's a genre actress. She was in Andor. She also did Hitman. That was a movie with Glenn Powell that was on Netflix. That was actually pretty good. Splitsville, Father of the Bride, and Blink Twice. I actually like Blink Twice, which was directed by Zoe Kravitz. Funny enough, I'm just talking about the Kravitzes and stuff. Now, Arjona is going to be starring in the Thomas Crown Affair with Michael B. Jordan. And I think she was a replacement because there was another actress that they put in the film, but I guess it wasn't jarring. So then they replaced her with Adria. And so that's supposed to be coming out. Don't know when, but that's a remake that's coming. So this is good news. I would have liked to have seen her as Wonder Woman. I'm definitely curious to see who they're going to pick as Wonder Woman. Please don't be Gal Gadot. That bitch couldn't act her way out of a tampon, a used one. So it'll be interesting to see who they pick to be Wonder Woman when that time comes around. But I would have really liked to see her play that character. I don't know if they'll go specifically canon where it's like, does she have to have red hair? We'll see how they were, or y'all gonna put a red wig on her. If y'all do, please don't give her that same type of ugly, dusty, cheap looking wig that y'all gave Johnny Depp's ex, Amber Turd, in the Aquaman movie. Don't give her that wig. Like, make the wigs look like y'all actually spent some money. Don't be cheap like Tyler Perry and put them people in the worst damn wigs y'all can find, them Party City wigs. No, get her a real wig with some real hair, some real human hair. that some Indian in India basically just cut all her hair off just to, sell or whatever. Like, get that hair and stitch it into the thing and put on her head and make it red. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, of this news that's coming out? And we'll see how long before it's denied by James Gunn on Threads. But how do you feel about hearing this news that Adria Arjona has been cast as Maxima in Man of Tomorrow, which is, well, the Superman sequel? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah. They go during the nighttime. Scream 7 was packed twice. Matinee on one was very much not packed, but Mario Galaxy was packed at the matinee performance. When I went to go see Scream, it was relatively a lot of people in there, and I was in IMAX. It was an early morning show, but I get it. It's like, yeah, it's a night movie. People want to go see the certain films when it's packed. And like we did a story yesterday that Gen Z is packing the theaters. So people are still going. I've been to movies where it was just me and my friend, and some time it's just us and maybe like five other people. Depends on the time and how popular the movie is. Mhm. People prefer nighttime. Is just in our DNA, unless family films that's packed. Mario has about 50 screenings per day, making it hard for other films. I usually go to the last show. I don't know. I don't do the last show thing anymore. I'm at the point now in my life where I'm like, that's a little too late. I don't like being out and about late at night still in the theater. The last time I did that was when Kill Bill: A Whole Bloody Affair came out, and I got to see the last time, show of it, and I think it was a 7:30 or 8 o'clock showing, and that movie was 4 hours. So I didn't get out of the theater until midnight. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm ready to go home. And what's annoying is that after midnight, that's when the train starts slowing down. So it's not necessarily me being in the movies late, it's the travel back home that is the annoying part. If I lived in like a couple of blocks away. Like if I lived in Midtown, I would not be bitching because I'd be like, okay, I could just walk. I live a couple of blocks away. I'm walking home. It's good. But when you have to take the train, you got to deal with letting trains coming every 30 minutes and how it slows down the later it gets. That's when it gets annoying. Okay, y'all. So now let's get into some horror news. And let's talk about Zach Cregger's Resident Evil. So I've been excited for this film because I like Resident Evil. I know some people look at it as sort of like a guilty pleasure. We have yet to get a really good Resident Evil movie, even though I like the Mila Jovovich ones. The first one I feel like is the closest to where it feels like a real Resident Evil movie. All the other ones kind of just go off in an entirely different direction. And then my guilty pleasure, I enjoy them for what they are, even though, yeah, they're not the greatest films, whatever the case is. They tried making another one, Welcome to Raccoon City, that was more faithful to the games, but a lot of the fans paid it dust. And so here comes that Cregger, who has directed movies like most recently Weapons, which Amy Madigan, played Anne Gladys, won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. And so he's made two movies that Barbarian. I couldn't remember the damn name of it now. It came to me. Barbarian and Weapons. Two great films. I like his discography. I mean, his film discography, like he's a musician. Filmography. I love his filmography so far. And now this movie's coming out, and people are upset because yes, it's Resident Evil. Yes, it's zombies, but it's completely different movie. Meaning these got characters that are in Raccoon City that he's focusing on, and not focusing on the Jill Valentines and the Chris and Claire Redfields and the Ada Wongs. He's not focusing on those characters. Maybe down the road you'll see these characters pop up in some capacity, but he's basically making this movie about residents who are in the area who are encountering zombies and what's going on at that point, which to me I feel like makes it relatively interesting because when it comes to Resident Evil and following the games, there's so much plot armor I feel around a lot of the characters in those games that it's like I can't make a film work if I can't kill none of these your favorite character all because then y'all gonna get mad. So basically what they're saying about this whole situation, well, I realized I didn't even close my last topic. Okay, so Zach Cregger basically has Austin Abrams is in the film. So for those of you who don't know who Austin Abrams is, he was in Weapons. He was the guy that was the junkie that was breaking into people's stuff to find money to buy drugs, and then he stabbed the dude in the face with the needle, which is like, y'all already know what that gives if you get hit with a used needle. You get the CETA, allegedly, or maybe, unless you get tested and you lucky. But yeah, the CETA comes in that. That's AIDS in Spanish. In case I didn't know that. So yeah. So also Abrams in the film, they said Cregger is getting set to unleash a nonstop nightmare that puts his own fresh spin on Resident Evil mythology. And the film was part of Sony Pictures presentation at CinemaCon. This was last night. Now, while footage, and I think the Warner Brothers one is today. While footage shown at the event will not be making its way online, they said that the synopsis for the film is basically that Austin Abrams, he plays Brian, a medical courier who unwittingly finds himself in a nonstop race for survival as one fateful, horrifying night collapses around him in chaos. Now, Zach Cregger also told CinemaCon attendees that his Resident Evil is a big, scary ride, one that follows Brian on his hellish descent through a snowy, monster-filled landscape. He also teased that it will be locked in with a protagonist on a foot journey through a world hell bent on destroying them. The film will be compared to George Miller's Fury Road, which I was hearing that a lot of people saying it's going to be like this nonstop ride, similar to Mad Max Fury Road, which I'm actually excited about because I love Mad Max Fury Road. I like all the Mad Max movies, even though they don't really do all that well financially. But I like a lot, even Furiosa. I like, and I know a lot of people was upset Charlize wasn't in it, but Furiosa was a good movie in my opinion. Now, producer, excuse me, Roy Lee told Geek Tyrant in February, he said it's like a roller coaster ride of nonstop action, of just showing a point of view of a character in an original story in the world of Raccoon City. Cregger has made one thing clear. He says, I'm definitely not trying to be completely obedient to the lore of the games. I'm trying to tell a story that just feels authentic to the experience you get when you play the games. We expect the Resident Evil trailer, should be coming out soon. And he co-wrote the script, by the way, with Shay Hatton, who wrote John Wick Chapter 3 and 4. And the movie's supposed to come out this year on September 18th from Sony Pictures. So I just need to see a trailer first to even get an idea what this film is. It does sound like a relatively interesting idea, and I'm all for exploring and coming up with something new and different as long as you can execute it well. Because, like I said before, a lot of people are gonna be like, "It's not having the characters from the games, and you're gonna call them Resident Evil, and no Resident Evil characters in it." And it's like, it's Resident Evil, but it's got different characters in it. They're using the name. They're giving you the and don't y'all like to run on vibes the way y'all be talking out here, new generation Z. Don't y'all like vibes and going on vibes and feeling vibes? That's all the bullshit y'all be saying about stuff. But now when y'all getting a vibe, now you don't like the vibe because you haven't experienced the vibe. So you got to wait for the vibe to come before you can respond to the vibe that you saying you don't like before you see it. If that makes sense. So um I just want to see a trailer first to see how it is. I don't necessarily mind that we don't have characters from the original games. We've seen the characters in some capacity, but I guess y'all maybe want it to be done right. But in the reality of it is that if you want characters done right, this is just a story that he wants to tell. And if he can find a way to just make it tell in this world of Raccoon City, that we getting the vibe of Raccoon City, we getting the overall look of Raccoon City, and we're seeing how other residents survived the zombie outbreak. That to me is way more interesting than I'm watching a movie filled with characters from a bunch of games and you don't want we can't do anything to them. So that just becomes annoying. That's probably why they had to create the Alice character. So that way they could find ways to play around in the world of Resident Evil without it necessarily having to be cut to the whole thing of what it is. So I'm curious to see what Zach Cregger's gonna come up with. So far, he hasn't steered me wrong in the type of films that he's made. I've liked everything he's put out so far, even though it's relatively only two movies. But two was good. I mean, if it was two movies that sucked, like something that Oz Perkins made, and y'all sit up in here and talk about how Oz Perkins is amazing filmmaking. I watch this stuff. This shit is such derivative of other movies that we've seen over the years. There's nothing new, original, or or exciting about any of the stuff I've watched of his. And this is coming from somebody who's a hardcore horror fan. So um I'll say all this to say, basically, what do you guys think of this story regarding what the synopsis overall is of Resident Evil and what we could be expecting? Because, like I said before, that a lot of people, well, they said that the film has been seen, that it's very small and contained, and instead of a sprawling mythology, he keeps the cast tight and the focus narrow. Where I guess it feels like he said there's almost zero world building, and they said it's far more cinematic than previous Resident Evil movies, with strong visual framing and practical effects doing most of the work. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of. I guess it wants to feel like this is like what it really feels like, the descent into madness, that full horror vibe that you get. That you're going to see Easter eggs, recognizable monsters. That it's gory. It's definitely going to get an R rating, and so it's going to give us the vibe of what we're going to get. But I understand if the hardcore fans are feeling a little, giving a little pushback. But like I said, just let's wait and see how the movie is before we start judging. But you know how this generation, how people are now with social media, and they judge things. They don't say a movie gonna suck before they seen a smidgen of freaking footage. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what we are apparently hearing has been coming out of CinemaCon regarding Resident Evil? It's upcoming Resident Evil film. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Uh, um, I wasn't. I should have asked y'all. Was I freezing when I was doing these topics? Let me know in the comments. Faces of Death was very exclusive engagement. It's out of my theater. I'm like, okay, give me the digital. Yeah, because I told you it was hard for me to even try to get a ticket for that movie because it was like limited showings. It was late at night, and a lot of times if I'm working and stuff, I have to. The reason why I go early in the morning is because I want to catch the film because my shifts, when I'm working live entertainment stuff, y'all know concerts. Sports events, all that stuff happens. Well, and when it comes to sports, we're at the mercy of ESPN and any of the sports networks. So we go based off of when they lock in a specific time for the shows. So these are the people I'm working with all the time, like the sports people, all that other stuff. So in the media, like CNN and not CNN, not that trash network. ESPN says CNN. And then with concerts, that's those are always like late at night and stuff anyway, unless it's a festival. But so I have to catch things early in the day. Mad Max should have continued with Charlize Theron. I know she not a witch to some people. Well, look, I liked her in the film. Look, she didn't have to work with what's his name? Tom Hardy. Because remember, they hated each other on that movie set. They do need to be better. So hopefully with his version, it will be. But people are always trying to push back on things they haven't yet witnessed or seen. Like give things, be willing to be open-minded and open for something new and different. What the fuck Gen Z know about? Well, I should probably say millennials, because Resident Evil came out before, during the millennial era. They said they was before their time anyway. They were kids when that. A movie I want to see that I'm looking forward to, and I like the trailer. Have you ever seen the trailer for that new Eli Roth movie called Ice Cream Man? That actually looks interesting. I want to see that. It was giving me Weapons vibes. Where it's like this ice cream man is giving kids ice cream, and the kids end up going around. I guess it possesses them, and they're going around killing their parents and stuff. So the trailer for that looked relatively interesting. I want to first take on these movies. I know Cregger's vision won't disappoint me. Exactly. And alcohol sales are why concerts at night. Well, a lot of times you could drink. Well, I mean, I don't know. You could drink at any time because look, when we work the Knicks games and stuff with Rangers, and we have early morning games for a lot of those. We serve alcohol at early in the day. At festivals, they serve alcohol. So anytime your situation, and even when I'm working, like if you work in baseball and a lot of the games are in the morning and the afternoon or even the night ones, we those are the we serve alcohol. Okay, y'all. So, I guess I wasn't freezing because I thought I was. I was like, it's moving a little slow, but it look like we good. Okay, so let's get into our final horror movie news before we move on to the other stuff. Let's talk about Felissa Rose. So, Felissa Rose, who y'all may or may not know, she played Angela in the 1983 slasher film Sleepaway Camp, which I absolutely love. I know the acting is atrocious. I know there was some scenes in there that it's like, oh my god, you could not get away with the shit that was in there today because remember they had like a damn molester that worked at the camp. And one of my favorites is Ricky because his mouth is similar to mine. You like the way he was cussing in that damn movie, that used to crack me up. So yeah, so there is I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if it's a sequel, a remake, but the original guy who directed the film, and I remember I went to IMC Theater in on West 4th Street, like around that area. Yeah, I think it's West 4th Street, right off the train, it's right there. And I got to see like the original, print of the film. The director was there. They did a Q&A. And there were trans people that was there in the audience and asked questions and was talking about how people always feel like the movie is transphobic. But I'm like, if trans people are actually watching the show and feeling like they looked at Angela as a hero to them, then I think maybe we should listen to the trans community and realize that if they're not offended by what Rob put the director, Rob Hiltzik is his name, particularly if you want to go to Robert. Um, what Rob put in the film, they're not offended by it, then why is everybody else trying to be offended for them? So yeah, he's working on a remake to the film, and Felissa Rose is hoping to be cast in the film in some capacity. So appearing at the recent Days of the Dead convention, speaking of which, did y'all see that new trailer for Vivica Fox? She's doing a remake of Night of the Living Dead. That movie looked terrible. The trailer. It's on YouTube. I saw it yesterday. She's in it. Miko Hughes. You remember the little kid from that was Gage in Pet Cemetery. He also played Heather Langenkamp's son in New Nightmare. And he's been in a bunch of movies, but he's in the film. But anyway, he also did like a fan film of Freddy on YouTube that I thought was actually good. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, that I was just thinking of the dead thing and it reminded me of that. But anyway, let's get back into this topic and let me, bring it back. So yeah, she shared her thoughts on the remake, including detailing the part she liked to play. Now, with the new Sleepaway Camp, I feel given the subject matter, we really need to be tender with it and give it the best reimagining we can, alluding to the cult classic's unforgettable twist ending. She said, I feel like it needs to be handled really tenderly and with understanding of our trans community and LGBTQ community. It has to be really done right. Now, she said, I think we really have to give it the love and the understanding that today, where we are, it's being very supportive and giving to it what the character is going through. I'm super excited to see that. Rose also revealed she's been campaigning for the part of Aunt Martha, memorably played by Desiree Gould in the original. She said, I want to play Aunt Martha. So that's what I've been telling them. That would be super fun. In the very end, there's Aunt Martha with Peter, the very last little moment, and we don't hear Peter's side of that conversation. And I think that would be pivotal in understanding where the character stands. I think we need to dig deep into that. And I was like, you know what, that might be actually interesting because since they have Kenan Thompson from Kenan and Kel who's producing it, his production company AFA, and if you bring some people in it, I do think that the film was ahead of its time. We never really saw trans characters explored in that way. And yeah, some people look back on the film and think stuff in there is a bit aged and a bit dated, a little problematic, whatever the case is. But if you really want to explore that whole trans allegory regarding her being a serial killer, I was like, maybe what they could do is change it up and make Angela one of the counselors and not one of the kids. And if you do, because I was thinking that would probably be a good person to put as Angela in the film. If y'all want to hire somebody that's transgender, I would say go with Josie Tota. Now, Josie Tota is in Faces of Death. She also, has been in a bunch of other things, but she might be a little too old to play a kid at the camp. So she might work better. So maybe change it up a little bit. Make her a counselor who's going around killing people because maybe there's a queer kid or something that's there at the camp and people are picking on them and something resonates in her regarding what's happening with this kid and it flicks something off in her brain and she goes off or whatever the case is. And then to have Felissa Rose as an Easter egg kind of come back and play Aunt Martha, I think that's genius. I would love to see her come back in some capacity to play the part. She can't come back as an older Angela because I don't think that that's where they want to go with that character, is have her as an adult. Maybe, so who knows? Maybe they want to, I don't know necessarily where they're going to go with the character, but yeah, if she's not going to come back and play that same part because the jig is everybody knows who she is, um, have her play the aunt who was crazy and was like, I already had a boy. His sister, you actually remember in the movie, believe that Angela's father was punching a man. Because there was a scene where there was two men in the bed, and then you see Angela and, well, the brother and the girl, who Angela turned out to be the boy, and then the little girl, his sister, were giggling in the doorway while they in the bed making love, which I'm thinking they did not have them in that same shot where they was doing that. It was the camera juxtaposing. Hopefully, that's what was going on when they shot that scene. And then the boating accident where the sister actually died. The boy survived, and then the aunt was like, I already got a boy with Ricky, so now I wanted a daughter. And then she basically made the boy into Angela. And that's where the whole trauma situation came from. So, and all the child, and I think James Earl Jones' father was in that movie too. So yeah, however they try to work this out, I was like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they work out the trans allegory if they still keep that in. I think at this point you have to. Like, you can't really just come in and be like, oh, we're just gonna get rid of all that twist in there. If you're gonna come back and do this remake, you got to make it interesting where it's not something that we see coming or what a new kind of twist or something. So hopefully he's working with some people that's going to actually help him come up with some good ideas. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would love to see Felissa Rose in the part of like in the movie in some capacity. If she don't get to play Aunt Martha, make her like a somebody that's on the campsite or one of the ladies that dropping her kids off at the camp. Something in just in passing, like she waving from the car and oh, but then I don't like little cameos like that. Give us something where she got dialogue. Because Felissa been still making movies and things. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was in. Yeah, she was. I think what was the last movie I saw? I think she was in that movie called Stream, which was done by the same people that did Terrifier. So yeah, she's been out here doing little movies every now and again. But I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you love to see Felissa Rose, the horror icon from Sleepaway Camp, reprise her, make a cameo in some capacity in this upcoming remake of Sleepaway Camp, one of my favorite horror movies from back in the day. So, well, camp horror movies. So, and that whole scene where they basically went and killed all them little kids in the sleeping bags that was sleeping in the woods. I'm like, y'all, the shit y'all put in this movie, you couldn't get away with a lot of that stuff today. It'd be too controversial. But we like a little controversy in our horror. So, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. He said, "You ain't freezing." Eli, I guess, is gonna film Thanksgiving too. With his film it individual and let movie magic do its thing and make it look like the cast was together. Well, we'll see how he makes that film work because you said the actor is hiding. Basically, he had to be drunk to film the iconic scene. Yeah, I remember that. Basically, um, there was a teenage boy that actually shot the scene where they put they juxtapose. I think they made like a mold of her head and put it on him. Yeah, I do. I will agree. It's like once we got to Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, it got a little too they were trying to go like a cross between Jason and Freddy. Like they were trying to make it a little too campy with the whole jokes and the one-liners. It did get ridiculous. Although they are guilty pleasures and I enjoy watching them, I do agree that I want it to kind of go back to what we got from the original. Rather have Angela be an adult so we can use them for that scene. Using a minor would be problematic. She was in Terrifier 3. Also, I heard Scary Movie 6 is good. Yeah, she was. I heard that she wanted to do a cameo, but who knows? Maybe they could have I think it would be good if they had like an adult Angela. Actually, twist it and make y'all thinking it's a kid, but Angela's actually a camp counselor who's working at the camp. And some traumatic situation happened, or she probably sees something within another kid who's getting picked on. A lot of people think that it's the kid that's doing it. Turns out that no, Angela is the other woman, and she changed her name or something or another. But there's somebody on the camp that happens to have that same name. So y'all thinking is one way, but the twist is this person. And you already know people will get upset. How you gonna have a non-person that's not trans playing a trans character? Because they're already doing that with this upcoming, what is it? It's fuck, what's the name of that I didn't like? The Last of Us. I didn't like that last season. The new season, they said there's a character on there, I think it's a female to male transgender, and they hire like some girl, biological female, to play the character, and people are upset. I was like, oh Lord, here we go. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some music news. And let's talk about Miss Tay Tay, Miss Teyonce Knowles Carter Swift, who I guess congratulations to her because the American Music Awards nominations have been revealed. And she basically has the most nominations. But I should also say, in case y'all didn't know, I didn't bring this up because I didn't think like it was a big story, whatever. I could just say it in passing. But now that it's a part of the American Music Awards, I can say it. Apparently, if you haven't heard, Queen Latifah is hosting the American Music Awards, which they said she did 30 years ago. I'm like, God damn, where did the time go? 30 years ago, Queen Latifah hosted the American Music Awards, and now 30 years later, she's back. So the American Music Awards will return this year for its 52nd iteration, kicking off on May 25th at the MGM Grand Garden area in Vegas. Taylor Swift leads with 8 nominations, including album Artist of the Year. Actually, I was right. Album of the Year, Artist of the Year, and Song of the Year. The pop star is trailed by Sabrina Carpenter, that racist Morgan Wallen, Olivia Dean, and Sombr with 7 nods each. Also, I just heard Sombr just announce his tour. So a lot of the kids are going out and start trying to make that coin. Now, Swift has had a monumental year thanks to, of course, her 12th album, The Life of a Showgirl, which, of course, has divided a lot of people. Now, the record's lead single, The Fate of Ophelia, is up, which sounds very Lana Del Rey-esque, is up for Song of the Year, Best Pop Song, and Best Music Video. While Elizabeth Taylor, which many critics cite as the centerpiece on the LP, is up for Song of the Summer, one of the 11 newly added categories to the annual ceremony. Now, if Swift takes home the award in all 8 categories, she will top Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. And funny enough, it was like a 10-year difference where in 1984 was Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston in 1994 were for most wins in one night. Now, breakout stars Olivia Dean and Sombr are first-time nominees and facing off in the new Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, and Breakthrough of the Year categories. Alex Warren, Tiana Taylor, Big, what is the name? Big X the Plug, Cat's Eye, Leon Thomas. That new Cat's Eye single is ass. Leon Thomas, Pink Pantheress, Ray, Role Model, Sienna Spiro, and Tate McRae are also first-time AMA nominees. Meanwhile, EJ, Audrey Nuna, Ray Ami, and musical voices of Hunter X in K-pop Demon Hunters are nominated in 3 categories. That will be Song of the Year, Best Vocal Performance, and Best Pop Song for their colossal hit Golden from the film. Well, you already know when it comes to that damn song, Golden's going to walk away with something. Now, this year's AMAs will also welcome back Queen Latifah, who I just told you, who last hosted 30 years ago to lead the annual ceremony on Memorial Day. And here's what she said. She said, I am so excited to return to the American Music Awards stage to host this year. That's what she said in the statement. It's been an incredible year for music, and there is no better place to celebrate than in Vegas. So the show is set to air on May 25th. That'd be a Monday. And they always air them on Mondays, if y'all notice, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Vegas, beginning at 8 p.m. on Paramount Plus and CBS. So at least CBS still got something left over there that they couldn't pump out on their network because, you know, the Oscars is going to, is it going to ABC? I think it's going to, oh, wait, no, it's going to YouTube soon. The Grammys is going to ABC. There's a lot of award shows going to ABC. So, now let's get into some of the categories before We move on to the next topic. So, Artist of the Year is pretty stacked. It's got Bad Bunny, Bruno Mars, BTS, Harry Styles, Justin Bieber, Kendrick Lamar, Lady Gaga, Morgan Wallen, Sabrina Carpenter, and Taylor Swift. Now, you already know when it comes to American Music Awards, they're probably going to give everything to Taylor Swift. They're not as clever as the Grammys because, Bad Bunny was cleaning everybody out with his awards. New Artist of the Year, Alex Warren, Ella Langley, Cat's Eye, Leon Thomas, Olivia Dean, and Sombr. Then we have Album of the Year, Carti B, Am I the Drama, Forza Regida from with their album, Justin Bieber with Swag, Lady Gaga Mayhem, Morgan Wallen, Yes You Are the Problem, Olivia Dean, The Art of Loving, Playboy Cardi, Music, Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend. We still promoting that damn album. Tate McRae, So Close to What? And Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl. Then we have Song of the Year, Alex Warren, Ordinary. I'm about sick of that damn song. Ella Langley, Choosing Texas. She's choosing Texas. The singing voices of Hunter X, and that's the one for that golden track. Kalani, Folded. Leon Thomas, Mutt, Argue. One. Morgan Wallen, Yes You Are the Problem. Stop asking. Olivia Dean, Man I Need. Sabrina Carpenter, Man Child. Sabrina Sombr, Back to Friends, and Taylor Swift, The Fate of Ophelia. Then we have Collaboration of the Year. I'm looking at these. I don't care who any of this category is. Social Song of the Year, Disco Lines from Tanashi. And Tanashi, No Broke Boys. Pink Panther is Illegal. Role Model, Sally Where the Wine Runs Out. Tyler, Chanel, and Zara Larson, Love Life. Or Lush Life, sorry. Um, Best music video: Cat's Eye, Gnarly, Rosalia Bjork, Eve's Tumor with the Bergan or the Borgin, Sabrina Carpenter, Manchild, Taylor Swift, The Fate of Ophelia, and Tyler Chanel. Then they have Best Soundtrack: F1 the Album, Has Been Hotel, Season 2, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Then we have Wicked for Good and Charlie XCX, Wuthering Heights. Now they got something called Tour of the Year, which I actually think this is a category they need to put for the Grammys. They definitely need to start recognizing tours because tours are as much just as significant as like music sales or artistry. So tour of the year category, and I think this is obviously this is new. Beyonce Cowboy Carter tour. This is gonna be a tough one. Kendrick Lamar SZA Grand National Tour. Lady Gaga The Mayhem Ball. Oasis with Oasis Live 25 tour, and Shakira La Mujeres Ya No World Tour. So this is gonna be a hard one. Then they got Breakout Tour, which is new. Benson Boone, American Heart. Well, I did see the American Heart World Tour. It was actually good. Cali Uchis, I worked on a tour too. Damn, I worked a lot of these tours. Um, Benson Boone's tour was good. Cali Uchis tour was good. She brought Raul Alejandro. Child, I damn near fell out when that fine ass man came up on that stage. I'm like, ooh, I ain't never seen him up close, but I was like, ooh, how you doing? But anyway, the one that got away from Carol G, who tore it up at the Coachella, by the way. So yeah, we got Benson Boone American Heart World Tour, Cali, which is the Sincerely Tour, the Maria's Submarine Tour. That was another one I worked. Megan Maroney, I don't know who that is. Am I Okay Tour and Sleep Token, even in arcade. Yeah, so the last two, I don't have no idea who they are. Breakthrough Album of the Year, and that's this is a new category. Olivia Dean, The Art of Loving, Sombr, I Barely Know Her. All right, Mariah, and Zara Larson, Midnight Sun. Best Throwback Song. This is another new category. Four Non-Blondes. Child, damn, y'all really throwing it back. Y'all gonna put more songs in here. They only picked three. Four Non-Blondes, What's Up, Black Eyed Peas, Rock That Body, and Goo Goo Dolls, Iris. Can y'all take me back? Why y'all trying to take me back to my damn childhood? Best Vocal Performance is another new category. Alex Warren, Ordinary, the singing voices of Hunter X, Lady Gaga, Abracadabra, Ray, Where's My Husband? I don't know, but I do love that song. Sienna Spiro, Die on This Hill. Now, it's going to be hard because I like the only two songs in here that I'm sick of Golden, even though that might take it. But Abracadabra, that is a bop, and Ray, Where's My Husband? First of all, I love Ray's new album, so that I would love to see. Now they got another new category called Song of the Year. Alex Warren, Fever Dream, Bella K. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, who are you supposed to be? Camila Cabello. Where they going? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. BTS, Swim, Ella Langley, Choosing Texas, Harry Styles, American Girls, Noah Kahan, The Great Divide, Pink Panther is Zara Larson with Stateside, Sombr with Homewrecker, Tame Impala, Jenny, and Jenny, 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 and Jenny, and Jenny. with Dracula. First of all, Tame Impala's new album was ass, even though I like Tame Impala, but sorry, your new album, I didn't, it was a chop. And Taylor Swift, Elizabeth Taylor. Now we got best male pop artist with Alex Warren, Benson Boone, Ed Sheeran. Oh, this is very white. Harry Styles and Justin Bieber. I don't give a good goddamn. Any one of y'all can take that shit. Female pop artist, best. Lady Gaga, Olivia Dean, Sabrina Carpenter, Tate McRae, and Taylor Swift. Then we got breakthrough pop artist, which is a new category, and they only got 3 up in here. Cat's Eye, Sienna Spiro, and Zara Larson. I'm glad they said breakthrough pop artist because Zara been trying to break through for the past decade, and y'all been paying her dust. Okay, let's get to some interesting ones because now I'm starting to get a little bored and a little long-winded. Best pop album, Lady Gaga Mayhem, Olivia Dean The Art of Loving, Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend, Tate McRae, So Close to What, and Tay Tay Beyonce, No Carter Swift, The Life of a Showgirl. We'll see. I'll tell you, I feel like they make it so easy for Taylor Swift to just sweep all of this up. Okay, they doing country. I don't care about country because I don't listen to country music. Now, best male hip hop artist: Don Toliver, Kendrick Lamar, Playboy Cardi, Tyler the Creator, Young Boy Never Broke Again. I think I forget. Don Toliver got a tour that's supposed to be coming to the Garden. That I don't know when that's coming. I think that might be June or whatever. Then we got best female hip hop artist: Cardi B, Doechii, Glorilla, Sexy Red. Ugh, why you got that old walking STI up in there? And YK Niece. Kind of name is that? Okay, then we got breakthrough hip hop artist SD Kid. Why that sound like you was gonna say STD? Monaleo and Pluto. I almost called him Pluto. Best hip hop song: Cardi B, Time. Now I do love that song. Fuck Drake with his corny ass Nokia. Gunna, Burna Boy, WGFT. Playboy Cardi, The Weekend, Rather Die, and YK Needs Quavo, Metro Boomin, Breeski, Take Me Through Durr. So best hip hop album: Cardi B, Am I the Drama, Don Toliver, Octane, Gunna, The Last One, and that's spelled WN. Playboy Cardi, Music, and Young Boy Never Broke Again, Massa. Oh no, not you calling your album Massa. And then we got best male R&B artist: Bruno Mars, Chris Brown, Daniel Caesar, Party Next Door, and The Weeknd. Honestly, give it to Chris Brown. I know that might be controversial, but that's the only one on this list that I'm thinking about that actually does real R&B music. Bruno Mars is a culture vulture. Daniel Caesar, he sound like he do church shit, Party Next Door, whatever. And The Weeknd is tied with them vocals. He always sound like a sheep being strangled. So, now best female R&B artist: Kalani, Summer Walker, SZA, Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor put out music. When did that happen? I thought she was over here acting. And make me sweat, make me holler. I mean, she got a new song. But, well, obviously, I know she got a new song. I'm just being messy because I did mention one of her singles earlier. Okay, so at this okay, let's get the best male Latin artist: Bad Bunny, Junior H, Peso Pluma. I'm about to work his show at the end of the month, actually. Raul Alejandro and Tito Double P. And then we got female Latin artist Gloria Estefan, who's still dipping and doing it in the music business. Carol G, Nati Natasha, Rosalia, and Shakira. I don't know why I sounded Chinese. Shakira. Best Latin duo or group: okay, so I think at this point I'm done. We don't need to go through all these damn lists because now I'm getting a little bored. But yeah, so y'all pretty much got the gist. Y'all got an idea, and I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this list? Who of y'all in the comments have decided y'all will be curious to want to see as winning in whichever category that I mentioned? It was so many I can't even remember at this point. Out of sight, out of mind. So, whatever your thoughts are, hold on, because I do not tolerate any transphobia up in this damn page. So I had to go and get rid of somebody. Okay, we good. So let me know what you guys think of this tea in the comments down below. This is news that you care about. Don't come in here with that. You wasn't even in here the whole damn time, and this is the time you pop up. Thank you. Cat's Eye music is so bad. What in the fuck do you labels that? Well, because they trying to get their own little version of what a K-pop group is, and them girls ain't giving what they think they giving. Like you said, labels think they are. Hmm. I'm hearing these nominees. I'll pass. When I tell you, I stopped watching these award shows a long time ago. Well, the only reason why I don't care about who wins. I just care about only thing I care about is like I watch the performances, but other than that, funny enough, the iHeart Music Awards came on, and I just keep scrolling over it. Like, I guess I don't even care about that. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's what I said. That damn. I said, who you trying to be? Camila Cabello. Lord, I'm getting old because Harpo. Who these people? That's why I said, how you naming your song Massa? You said, what happened? No, somebody was over here talking about those people ain't women, and I said, you don't come in here with that transphobic shit. So I was like, you're banned. Not you, but somebody else. All right. So now, let's get into our next topic, and let's talk about Tanta, who has announced. Well, she ain't really announced it, but it's coming out. The sleuths have been sleuthing. I woke up this morning, and then I saw, okay, the Queen of Pop has scrubbed her Instagram. And you know what that means when musicians start scrubbing their entire Instagram. That means a new album is coming, and a new era is coming, and it looks like that it's the stars are aligning because I did say the word on the street was that there is a rumor that Madonna is planning on dropping the first single for this Confessions Part Two. That's what we're calling it right now, on Friday, the 17th. Right? Yeah, the 17th. And I woke up this morning and saw that she scrubbed the Instagram clean. Then she went and posted this picture on her website of the speaker in between her legs, which is similar. Somebody tried to say that this is similar to something that Jerry Halliwell did for one of her horrible ass singles. That may be true, but I was looking at this as this was Madonna kind of doing an updated version of her with the boom box when she used to grind on her coochie on the boom. I remember that back in the day during the hung up era in the confession store when she was dancing and grinding on top of the boom. So I thought it was kind of a play on that, but it's an updated version 20 years later. So that's how I looked at it. I was like, who got time to be up in here trying to follow Jerry Halliwell's solo career? When she was like I can't say she was the worst singer. Everybody knows it was Posh, but but for the most part, Jerry okay. So so basically according to the story, it says time has gone by so slowly. She said for those who wait, but it's like, man, we've been waiting too damn long for you to release this new damn album. Wait, first of all, they said, isn't this her 15th album? Because why did Rolling Stone put time has gone by so slowly since Madonna released her 10th studio album? Um, Hold on. So now I gotta Google because what was her actual 10th album? It wasn't, or maybe her 10th album was Confessions. It was Confessions. Okay, so I'll take it back. I was about to call Rolling Stone a liar. I was like, y'all made a mistake. No, they're correct. Confessions of the Dance Floor was her 10th record. This is about to be her 15th when she releases it. Because I was like, I know I'm not bugging. But the reigning queen of pop music gave the surest confirmation yet that a sequel is on the way. On Tuesday, Madonna wiped her Instagram account, teased lyrics from the original album's lead single, Hung Up, and updated her website to have the phrase Confessions 2 flash across the screen. No release date or further information has been given, but I will say this, rumors are swirling that the album's first single will drop on the 17th of this month, with the album set for release on June 12th. So that is the rumor that's going around that we could be getting a new Madonna album on June 12th, which, as I stated before, fits perfectly around Pride season. Nobody listens when I talk, apparently. Because I said it would be smart if she releases the single once it starts getting warm. It is 70 some odd degrees in New York today. So when it gets warm out, that's when Madonna wants to come out of her hibernation, even though she ain't really been hibernating. She's been out and about. We've been watching her and following her on social media. So we said once that she comes out about springtime, the single's gonna come out. She already filmed the music video last month in London. They're very top secret. They said Sabrina Carpenter makes a cameo. We'll see at what capacity. Hopefully it's a cameo when she's playing a character and not a duet. We don't need no duets. The hardcore fans don't want a Madonna duet. We want Madonna by herself, like she did with Confessions. The days of following the trends is behind us. You don't need to follow trends no more. You are who you are. You've built this career for 40 over 40 plus decades. Well, yeah, 40 years. You've been doing this for over 4 decades. You don't need to go and jump on who the hottest whatever is in order to get some relevance with a lot of younger fans, especially when I'm on YouTube and I'm seeing a lot of younger people who are like in their early 20s and beyond, and maybe even younger, who are basically going through Madonna's discography and reacting to her videos, reacting to her live concerts, reacting to her songs, and they're falling in love with a lot of how influential she has been to the entire pop landscape for the past 40 years. So I don't think she needs to do it, and I'm hoping that's what it is. So they said Madonna has been teasing the project since, December 2024, and we in 2026. I'm tired of you teasing, sis. So yeah, if you go on her Instagram, it basically says time goes by so slowly, and then it's Madonna.com. You go to the Madonna.com and you get this, like I said, the little speaker thing that I showed y'all earlier, which you see here on the left, and with it between her and her legs and all this stuff, which I think is actually good. You know what would be cool if this is actually the overall look of the tour. You actually have like some legs made and you have her come out of the giant speaker. That would be fierce. Like you could have her come out of the speaker on the tour. Now that'd be something that'd be just as iconic as the her coming out of the disco ball. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with this era. So there was that, and then also from at Reinvention 1978 on X, it said Inside the Groove basically said the press release announcement date is April 17th, album release date June 12th, 2026, lead single April 17th, 2026, and this is from Warner Music UK. So if you go on like the UK sites, if you go to Brazil, they are starting to leak little things here and there where you're starting to see like, okay, like stuff is coming, and a lot of the sites from around, outside the United States is putting this because, when it comes to dance music, Madonna's always kind of focused more international than America. Yes, America is important in some ways, but you hit that international market first, which she did 20 years ago with Confessions. That's a smart way to go about it because the Europeans and global wise, they appreciate dance music way more than Americans do. I feel like a lot of people in America treat house music like it's some sort of trend. Me, I'm a house head through and through. Like that's all I usually will listen to is dance electronic music or like house music for the most part. And anything within that genre. I do listen to all different types of music, but house has always been who I am. I am a club kid through and through. I've always been that way since, me making all the friends that I did with a lot of producers and DJs and the people I know today. I was a full-on club kid back in the day. So that's my wheelhouse. Now, over the past year, they said Madonna has confirmed that she's back in the studio, as we know, with Stuart Price, the producer who basically produced the original Grammy-winning album. And in September, she re-signed with Warner Brothers, where she got her start in 1982 under the label Sire Records. And she basically said she put her heart and soul into this new music, and she can't wait to share it with us. So we haven't gotten a new album from Madonna in like almost 7 years? Yeah, because Madam X came out in 2019, so it's been 7 years. This is the longest I feel like she's been away from us as an artist, and I definitely feel like it's time that the Queen comes back. And this is all I got on this tea right now. Hopefully, more will come out on it as the story develops. But it looks like if this turns out to be legit, and I do believe wholeheartedly that yeah, it is legit because you don't scrub your Instagram and it just stays like that for weeks and weeks and weeks if you don't have something big coming. And all the artists do it. Everybody, when you notice they scrub their Instagram, Taylor Swift did it. All your faves have done it. So when they scrub they Instagram, that means something major is about to happen. Shit's about to go down. And a new era is coming. Now, I think the smart thing for Madonna to do, and I really hope she plans on doing this, that with me mentioning that Dominique Ross from Pose, and as I know as Tyra Allure, I've known her as that for years. When I used to go kikiing with Miss Dominique back at Two Potato, back in Manhattan, like what was that? Like over in the Village. She used to be up in Two Potato with a lot of them little spots back in the black queer spaces. That she's been announced that she's the Grand Marshal at the Pride Parade in New York. I think this would be a great opportunity for Madonna to play new tracks off the record and perform a lot of the music by doing Pride this year. I think she should do New York City Pride. And if she does, bitch, let me tell you, I'm getting my ass a ticket and I will be front row at that show. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, it's not a lot that we know much about what's happening with this album. This is the little information we've gotten so far, but I'm sure within the next coming days we will get more information, and of course I will be bringing that information to you all on this here show. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mm, 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 mm. Caitlyn Jenner did an interview, call herself oh yeah, I did see that story. I saw that story. Thought about talking about it. I'll save that for tomorrow. I did see that in passing. I was like, do I give a shit? Who knows? Maybe in 24 hours I will. But I saw that story earlier when I was looking for news. Pink News, I think, had it. So and they said called herself a hypocrite winning woman of the I mean, it kind of was because you're not a woman. I mean, trans women are women, but the way you've been acting, no ma'am. I don't know how you get woman of the year, but you played into that bullshit because you started getting all them damn imbeciles riled up, and that was the far right is taking it far for on Tammy Lauren and wants them to cool it. Mhm. She did play into it. Yes, time goes by so slowly. So slowly. Madonna was a gag for humping that big ass boombox. Mhm. 7 years since Madam X. I'm a sucker for a synth. He said, I kind of wish artists would come up with something different than scrubbing their Instagram, especially when you consider Gaga did it. Here we go. Somebody's in a mood today. And you said, we've never gone 7 years without a Madonna album. That's what I said. It's been that long. I said Gaga might have did it first, but it really was Taylor that made it mainstream with the reputation. Gaga don't get credit because it's art flop. If Madonna releases this Friday, she'll be releasing the same day as Olivia Rodrigo. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. A lot of people saying that. Is she gonna do that to Olivia? First of all, when they said Olivia, I'm like, which Olivia? Because I thought y'all was talking Olivia Dean. I totally forgot about Olivia Rodrigo. She'll again be competing with Olivia's third album. Madonna will top the top album sales, original Billboard 200 and top dance albums. Yeah, she could definitely do top dance because look, Slater just got top dance. And I just finally got around to seeing because I was mad. I only saw like clips of Slater. Somebody went and uploaded Slater's full concert, Coachella concert on YouTube. Bitch, I sat and watched it and gagged. I was living for that whole performance. She's definitely a star. I hope that girl blows up. But then again, when you see like potential with somebody, you don't want them to get too big because you don't want the the hangers on to just all of a sudden come around and jump on the bandwagon. Sometimes you want to keep the good ones to yourself. And then Nine Inch Noise, let me tell you, I'm living for the remixes of a lot of the songs that Boys Noise basically came in and brought his own flavor to a lot of the Nine Inch Nails music. I love the fact that Trent Reznor had his wife Mara Queen up there singing alongside him. She's gorgeous too. And so you had Atticus Ross and Boys Noise on the production side. Trent was just focusing on vocals and with his wife when she was up there. And they had dancers. I ain't never seen no shit like that. I was like, you know what? Now, if this was a show or an industrial concert that I would want to go see, Trent Reznor continues to define what a concert really is. It's the mixing the tech with like audio and the visuals that come with it, and just finding new ways to entertain and change things up. No artist is doing stuff like that when I saw them doing. I don't get that with all the young people she spends time with. Why don't they suggest things to her or tell her about trends? That's what I'll be doing because first of all, if I was an artist, I say if I was an artist. I mean, I'm an artist in some ways, but my thing would be this, and I've always had this in my head. If I have a team of people around me, I want people that understand the industry and been in it for a while. But I also want to surround myself with younger people who understand how tech and everything works. And we're like, what kind of ideas should we do that's different that we can engage with different audiences? That we can, it's like you want to be able to still have your ear to the street to the youth, so that way it keeps you youthful, keeps you up on things, and yeah, you hire people that can do all that online stuff for you. I mean, that's what I would do. She's also partnering with the Samsung sound. Yeah, I saw that was on the Brazilian website where they posted that with the Samsung sound system and is doing an exclusive Samsung Super Audio mix. Paid what is that, 5 million or 55 million? 55 million for a sponsor. But she's old school and she's stubborn. And that's the thing too. She's got to be able to adapt she's got to adapt with the times. Like you kind of have to evolve. You can still be old school with shit, but stop being so stuck in the time, because if you continue to try to do things the way that they used to be done, you're gonna get left behind. So Adante said before the big tour, Madonna should do Lollapalooza and some festival day. I was thinking that. I do believe that it would be smarter if she did Glastonbury and Lollapalooza. She needs to do the festival. So I mean, it would have been cool if she did Coachella, but Coachella is already pretty much. I mean, unless she comes out as a surprise and does a surprise set this week, because this is the second week. If she does something like that, that'll be interesting. Who's getting the number one album spot in the Billboard 200 chart? Olivia or Madge? I have a feeling it's going to be the former. Yeah, because it's a streaming era, and a lot of young people like Olivia Rodrigo and are looking forward to her new music. So, obviously, she would be the one that would get the accolades or a lot more of the streams. Or when it comes to Madonna, you'll get a lot of people out there that want to buy physical media from her, especially like the vinyl and stuff. Which is why I said the other day that there was a word coming out that she was getting vinyl printed of the album, and some people like, oh, that's too early. The stuff is gonna. I'm like, music leaks regardless. So, and you know how long it takes to print out vinyl, so that's why they're getting that shit out the way now in April, especially if the rumor is correct that she has the new album's coming out in 2 months. So it says, so wait, what is happening? It says, so does her audience. If you want the number one album, they need to embrace Spotify and other stuff, because sales aren't really impactful on Billboard. Excuse me, but we got Billboard top album sales. But we'll see when that may the best woman win, as in the words of RuPaul. We'll see how it all works out when the time comes. But anyway, let's get back into the show and let's talk some more mess. So let's talk about Lena Dunham. So I don't know if y'all remember Lena, but remember Lena came and did that pretentious ass Brooklyn hipster show called Girls, which was like I said, a pretentious hipster version of Sex in the City, with a bunch of unattractive women from Brooklyn trying to do the whole navigating through life and all the other mess. So Lena Dunham wound up doing this show, and y'all remember Adam Driver was a part of that show at one point. So now Lena has a new book. I don't know if it's out or it's coming out. And she's in the book spilling a whole lot of tea about her relationship with Adam Driver. And not only that, but she also is admitting that she didn't close her legs to other people when she was in her relationship with Jack Antonoff, who's now married to Margaret Qualley, the girl from The Substance. And it was in the new Sabrina Carpenter video. But yeah, she once upon a time dated Adam. I didn't even know her and Adam Driver was out here hunching. But she at one point they was hooking up. She talked about a lot of what went down and during their tumultuous relationship working together, and even admitted, like I said before, that she cheated on Jack Antonoff. Now, in her new memoir, Fame Sick, Lena Dunham reflects on how her hit show Girls and the complex relationship she had with co-star Adam Driver both on and off set. Girls, which ran on HBO from 2012 to 2017, starred Dunham as a self-centered. Yeah, she was so fucking annoying. And one thing I can't stand about people is when there's no redeeming qualities about y'all. Because they said she was self-centered but oddly charming. I don't know where it was in that writing, but a damn show wasn't coming through. She played Hannah Horvath, and driver was her toxic on-again, off-again boyfriend, also named Adam. According to Dunham's new memoir, their real-life relationship wasn't too different. She said they said things got off to a rocky start during the filming of the first season, with Dunham claiming her careful blocking went out the window and he hurled me this way and that during their first sex scene. Stunned, I couldn't speak for a moment, unsure what had happened. Had I lost directorial authority, allowed the scene to go off the rails, not giving proper instructions? Would I be removed from my command post immediately? It wasn't that I felt violated, and I also wouldn't know if I had, as there were little in my sexual life that I hadn't allowed to happen, and for no pay. But I felt that something intimate, confusing, and primal had played out in a scenario I was meant to control. She also writes that the driver walked out of the room after she showed him the pilot episode and didn't answer any of my calls for the next 3 weeks. When he finally called, Dunham was sure he was going to quit the show, but instead he admitted that he rushed out because he hates watching himself. You couldn't have fucking said that. And it's like, that's one thing about actors. They're so insecure with it. Oh, I like watching myself. I was like, okay, so you don't like watching yourself. Grow the fuck up. Okay, this thing come off. Um, So after Girls was picked up, Dunham's anxiety increased as she faced the pressures of running a TV show at just 24 years old. When it was time to shoot the final episode, she reveals that she disassociated to deal with the stress. She said, at work, I found it was hard to act or direct when I wasn't. In fact, I wonder if everyone on set could tell that an alien had replaced me. I wonder if my scene partners would feel how barely human I was. She then recalls one instance that driver where up with driver where he grew frustrated with her for forgetting her lines during rehearsal and alleges he hurled a chair at the wall next to me. I remember doing a fight scene with Adam and how scary it was to meet someone so totally present with such absence. Late one night, as we practiced lines in my trailer, I found that mine were suddenly gone. I knew I'd written them, I'd known them only minutes before, but when I opened my mouth, all that came out was a stammer until finally Adam screamed, fucking say something, and hurled a chair at the wall next to me. Wake the fuck up, he told me. I'm sick of watching you just stare. Maybe what it is the fact that she was forgetting her lines because the anxiety. When you got somebody who is remotely insecure, clearly that's what's coming from Adam Driver, and he's coming at you in these ways where you're feeling like, well, damn, if I make a little mistake, you got to walk on eggshells. But I'm like, bitch, you the boss. I'd have fired this motherfucker a long time ago. I don't care how good of an actor you think you are, but this little two that you got, you need to figure it out. And there's all this method acting bullshit that a lot of these actors do. That shit irritates me. It's like, you're not Marlon Brando. And even with Marlon Brando, that crap was obnoxious. It's like, go in, say your fucking lines, deliver the role, and go the fuck home. Y'all be doing a little too much when it comes to y'all. People make, and I've studied acting, so I can say all of this. Acting, y'all make the shit so goddamn complicated. Where it's like, what are you trying to prove with all this extra bullshit? So now, after the chair incident, Dunham said that she didn't tell anyone, but I said my lines correctly after that. However, during the first season, she and Driver still felt like partners and continued to rehearse together frequently, though they fought often. She said, I reasoned that the intensity of his anger at me, anger that could make him spit and throw things, was proportionate to the intensity of our creative connection. She writes in Fame Sick, one day in his dressing room, as I apologized for a perceived slight I couldn't remember committing, he got close to my face and hissed, I'll never forget that I know you. I really fucking know you. What do you know? I yelped. You don't go to parties, you love animals, and you hate being whispered about. And he was right. Now, as they continue to spend time together on and off set, Dunham admits she spent an inordinate amount of time wondering if Adam liked me. And it's that fear of, that need to be loved and everything. That's probably why she was constantly like me, please, let me, please. There's a deep rooted amount of insecurity that goes on with a lot of actors. So I can understand why she kept trying to seek his approval. And I guess when you're, a 24-year-old who's running their own show, who created, wrote, direct, and you're doing your own show, you haven't fully been able to come to a term of understanding when it comes to the type of show or whatever that it is that you're doing. until you have the mental capacity and the tools later on in life to process and understand it. Which is, I guess, where now that she's pushing 40 or approaching 40, this is what she's writing in her and she's articulating it and working out the whatever the issue is in the form of a memoir. So she said he could be short-tempered and verbally aggressive, condescending and physically imposing. Yeah, it was definitely given that from how you was describing him. He also could be protective, loving even. Is he bipolar? Later in the book, she even claims that he once punched a hole in his trailer wall because he hated his new haircut. Well, who the fuck told him to cut his hair? Unless that was part of the character, and it's a character you're playing. If you don't like the haircut, throw a fucking hat on. But he also was there for her. Now, during a particularly rough anxiety week for Dunham, she details how Driver came over to her apartment every night to keep her company. One night he called her to say, "I'm warning you, if I come out, I'm not leaving this time." And Dunham didn't let him in. He crouched at the window, watching. I crouched at the window, watching him park his bike, pull out his phone, and dial, but I didn't answer. It felt as simple as ignoring your doorbell, as pretending to be asleep, as impossible as stopping your blood from flowing. But some part of me knew, some wise part of me, some bold part of me, that if we crossed whatever boundary we were threatening to cross, the return to work would be tinged with humiliation, that I'd be minimizing any authority I still had, and that, however it went, my heart, bruised more improbably, not yet broken, would crack. So she said they never spoke about it again, and Driver told her, but when Driver told her he was engaged, she felt heartbroken. She said it was absurd to be heartbroken, to have thought I meant anything, that I occupied any role beyond distraction. I was his scene partner, sure. And so when we were in a scene, his attention was piercing, his presence all consuming. But in life, it would never be me who kept him in line. I didn't have the chops. Even at work, I couldn't do it. In one place, I was meant to make the rules. Well, look, yeah, you don't want to cross that boundary or starting a hunch in your co-star. But at the same time, also, let his wife deal with all of that. Like, you come up in here and y'all cross the boundary, you already have this weird tumultuous relationship back and forth with each other, and there's like a borderline toxicity there, and you're still trying to clamor for his respect in some sort of way because you've got whatever deep rooted insecurity that you have yet to deal with that may stem from your childhood. Yes, I'm getting deep with it. So whatever that is like, don't work your shit out on him. You need to work that out with a therapist and let his wife handle it. So if he's going around punching holes in walls and throwing chairs whenever she step out of line, let her deal with that. Because I'd be damned if some motherfucker come up in my situation and bring that mess up in here. Now, in other Lena Dunham news, let's get into her situation where she's talked about her relationship with Jack Antonoff. So the celebrated and often controversial writer is out with the new memoir. Okay, so I guess they said which published on Tuesday, so I guess it came out today. One of the more explosive revelations from the book comes during her discussion at the end of her 5-year relationship with Jack Antonoff. Now, who is a musician, he produces for a lot of your faves. Dunham recalls pointing out that Antonoff's closeness with an unnamed teen pop star, I wonder who it is, whose album he was producing had begun striking an odd note. At the same time, she details for the first time embarking on an affair with a former middle school flame named Nick, which ushered in the final break from Antonoff. As the relationship deteriorated amid Dunham's health issues, she noted, I had never stopped flirting. I mean, I wasn't dead yet, but I had observed careful boundaries, never taking it far enough that I could be declared out of bounds. If I'd wanted to look, perhaps I may have seen that Jack was not observing them as closely as I was. She had not been, she had not seen myself as some kind of half wife, but after a hysterectomy, changed the game in late 2017. She wrote to a former middle school boyfriend named Nick with impunity, saying, I just had a major surgery and I need to be cheered up. Meet me by the bridge. Bring me a stuffed animal. I got an answer back in less than a minute. I'm already running. Now, Dunham writes that she let my lips wander slowly across his face and onto his. And I remember how my high school friend Marissa's mother once told us how, when she conducted an affair in the 70s, Cheating on her first husband with Marissa's father, she insisted on wearing a red velvet cape with a hood everywhere she went. What she wore was a sweater the size of an Airstream trailer, but I too was ready to do adultery. Well, she's got the gift of writing. I'll give her that. Now, kissing progressed as Dunham said. She told Nick, "I've been through something awful. I don't want to talk about it, but I need you to fuck me, and I need you to do all that work." Child, let me find out. He said, "I can make that happen." He said. Dunham writes that the affair lasted several days. Now, on the third night, my parents left town, and Nick met me at my place where he went down. Girl, now I got to get into this detail. Where he went downtown while I watched the steady flames hiss in the electric fireplace. Afterward, we took a bath, washing each other's hair at the same time, then fucked again on top of my parents' quilt. He looked deep into my eyes as he moved over to me and said, "You're making me want to cut the brakes on your boyfriend's car." When Antonoff got home from tour, she crawled in bed with him and told, after another night with Nick, "Oh, you messy." I tried to calm my sheer terror by telling myself I was finally home from a bad dream. I had fixed myself, proven I could be this freaky, sexy, lively young woman he fell in love with. I had exorcised the demon in a way. I had fucked Nick for both our sakes to make our house a home again. It would all be better now. I fell asleep to the rhythm of Jack's breathing, like I had been doing for almost 6 years. But she wasn't able to hide her true feelings. She broached the subject of them not making each other happy the following morning. Before sobs overtook me, Dunham writes that the former couple put our foreheads together and wept before breaking up. "No matter what happens," I said, "you will always be my first great love and you'll be mine." He wept. The twosome had a therapy appointment scheduled for the Monday after they ended things. They went together to discuss what came next. Looking back, there's something oddly adorable about a pair of childless 30-year-olds thinking of that anything comes next. As he hugged me goodbye in the doorway, he was more careful and tender than he'd been with me in a long time. It made me want to start from the beginning. The night he texts, "What do you feel like?" he writes. It was confusing to explain. On the other hand, my heart was so heavy, I thought it might sink down and replace my uterus. I couldn't think too far ahead or too far behind without breaking down into hysterical tears. On the other hand, Nick was in my makeshift bedroom, likely with his head between my legs while I sent the message. Pretty strange. Well, girl, you was out here being messy. One thing I'll say about Lena Dunham that I think kind of annoyed me about her, and maybe this is like a reflection of her with the girls era, she kind of played up this character like she was the imperfect, like she was just a flawed human being. And I think that was another thing. She may have taken that inspiration from Sex in the City because they did that with a lot of the characters on the show, particularly Carrie Bradshaw. And I know she got a lot of smack for that type of character. And Lena embodied a lot of that with the Girls series. So you're seeing like in real life, she's showing like, yeah, I did some fucked up things too. Where it was like, I wasn't happy in my relationship with Jack. He clearly wasn't in a happy relationship with her, hence why he was getting close with this unnamed pop star. I want to know who it is though. But but I guess maybe if somebody do the math or the timeline correctly and who he was working with at the time, then maybe they could figure out who it is. But she wasn't happy in her situation. He wasn't happy with their situation. They were at the end of the day when he came back from tour and she came back from cheating, they tried to make it work, but they realized in that point that it was like, yeah, the relationship is pretty much done. And it's okay when you get to a point in your life where you outgrow people, whether it's a friendship, a sexual, or just a regular relationship, or whatever the case is. We outgrow people. I always look at people as, they last a reason, a season, and a lifetime. I don't always try to look at things as it's forever because nothing lasts forever. We're not going to live forever. So why do you want to try to treat a relationship that is going to last forever, regardless of what level of the relationship it is? Be it you've been friends with somebody since middle school or since you were 3 years old, or you met the person 3, 4, 5 years ago or 6 months ago. You just take it day by day. And if you realize that you kind of outgrown each other, then you move on. And she realized it, and that's what happened. And this is her telling her side of the story. So that sounded pretty interesting. I mean, I ain't really getting the book, but that was some good tea some good juicy tea to speak about on the show. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what Lena Dunham had to say about her crazy relationship, roller coaster relationship with Adam Driver while they worked with each other on Girls for 5 seasons, and her relationship with Jack Admiral, which she opened up about being a Jezebel in the relationship. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. We shall see how this is it, because you were definitely giving cranky up in here. I was like, what's going on? Come on, Crankzilla. He said, we got the stadium tour. I learned Backstreet Boys announced a stadium tour, but NSYNC did as well. The dates was 3 to 5 days before Backstreet Boys forced the Backstreet Boys to downsize arenas. Wait, what's going on? What stadium tour? What are we talking about? Johnny Wright was being messy and glad to destroy Backstreet. Are we talking about this documentary or whatever that's on that I haven't watched yet? Madam X sold 90K. Madonna sells more than me. Well, Mimi ain't really been putting out music. Cool, this is good. She's still depending on that Christmas album. Madam X is 190K. Caution is 120K. Madam X is 700K worldwide. Caution is no sales as it flopped internationally. Well, yeah, a lot of international people ain't really feeling her like that. Method acting is an excuse to be. Well, I agree. I feel like it's just your excuse. You trying to hide behind the method. I was like, oh, don't do that. Don't bring that shit up here. Because when I method act by punch you with my method hand in your method face, then we're gonna see how much method acting we gonna be doing. Like Denzel said, going off to war is hard work. A single mom working 5 jobs is hard work. This is what we do is not hard work. It's not. You get paid to sit in a trailer for 14 to 16-hour days, coming out, standing on your mark, getting blocked or whatever, blocking all other stuff, saying your lines a couple of times so they can get all the angles and they can move on to the next thing. So stop acting like y'all out here curing cancer. You're getting paid to memorize lines and say it in front of a damn screen or in front of a camera. So I learned the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame hates Mariah. Nothing about her screams sex, drugs, rock and roll, the super girly girl image, everything about her. Yeah, because wasn't she ignored again? Christmas Queen is well in time, Matola is still lots of people in the voting committee. Her real Phil Spec Chow. Well, if she don't ever get look, if she don't get one, that's all right. There's much more to her than being winning awards and things. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Britney. Well, as you already know by now, Britney Spears is in rehab. She, her people confirmed, I guess, at TMZ that she decided to voluntarily check herself in the rehab. That may not necessarily be true. I have some tea on who actually kind of motivated her to go to rehab because it was the intervention allegedly that's being reported. But Kevin Federline has decided to pipe up and give his opinion on the matter, which of course got some of the big hardcore Britney fans. I don't even know what would they call her fans, the Britbots. Y'all need a name like the Rihanna Navy or the Beehive. So Britney's fans basically was like, "Okay, boy, sit down and shut up. Nobody asked you." But apparently they did because people was out there asking his opinion because you know how messy TMZ and them are. So news broke on Sunday that the pop star had voluntarily checked herself into rehab after her reps confirmed it to multiple outlets on Sunday. Federline, who shares sons Sean Preston and Jaden James, who are 20 and 19 respectively, with Spears, shared his support via his ex for his ex via his attorney, Mark Vincent Kaplan, because apparently he can't talk for himself. He got to have his attorney be his mouthpiece, saying Kevin is aware of the reports that she is checked into rehab and that if she needs help, he is happy that she is getting help and that the decision appears to be one that she made and not one imposed upon her by others if it was. The key is that whatever the recommended treatment plan is, that she follows it and completes it. Well, I already told her that she's not putting a specific timeline on how long she's going to get the help that she needs, that she's going to just take it day by day. And when she feels like I guess she's fully gotten her stuff together, then she'll come back home. Now, Spears' decision to check into rehab came over a month after she was arrested on suspicion of a DUI in Ventura, California. The 44-year-old singer was released the following morning, March 5th, per arrest records from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. A rep for Spears called the arrest an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable and said her loved ones are planning to step in with the overdue needed plan to set her up for success moving forward, saying Britney is going to take the right steps and comply with the law, and hopefully this could be the first step in long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life, the rep added in their statement. Hopefully she can get the help and support she needs during this difficult time. Now, it wasn't the first time Spears found herself in legal trouble. The singer previously faced 4 misdemeanor charges after she got into an alleged hit and run accident with a parked car in Los Angeles in 2007. The charges were later dropped after she paid the vehicle's owner for the damages. Now, Spears was placed under a conservatorship the following year, which she wouldn't be released from until 13 years later in 2021. In February, Entertainment Weekly learned that the artist sold her entire catalog to publisher Primary Wave for around $200 million. Now, Spears also broke her silence a few days after her arrest with a social media post on Instagram featuring her son Jaden, saying, "Thank you all for the support, blah, 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 so on and so forth." And she's supposed to appear in court, by the way, on May 4th. So I'm thinking that May the 4th be with you. I just remember that's what that usually is when they do that with Star Wars. But I mean, I think, I'm just gonna stick with what I said before. She's probably doing all of this because she knows this court date is coming up and she wants to prove to the judge, like, you know what, whatever issues I have and whatever substance you found on me, probably Adderall, because remember, the rumor is that she likes to go to trap whenever a lot of times she goes to hop, skip, and jump from the US over to Mexico is when she going over there to get that Adderall. And they were saying out here that, she getting these drug dealers tight because now she going to rehab to get herself better. And she be out here doing these little substances. I don't know what the substances are, but there's no way that this girl is up in here stone cold sober and constantly getting on camera wearing these weird ass clothes and them Gerber baby panties and smacking her ass and whirling and twirling in front of the damn Instagram camera. Then she keep posting the same goddamn video and doing them weird ass damn choreography that she be doing. So that ain't no regular person shit. That's you on some shit. That's literally what that's giving with the performance. But of course, when you talk about this stuff and you're saying, okay, no human being who is under the influence or whatever, this is some regular shit. Like it's not a big deal. And the fact that fans know that this is bizarre, but y'all choosing to ignore it, you're enabling the issue. So I'm glad in so many ways that yes, Britney is getting the help that she needs. But I also think while it's cute or whatever, that Kevin wants to use this moment to act as if he really cares for Britney's well-being, this is also the same man, lest we forget, that not that long ago, or as I like to say, once upon a time now, long ago, wrote an entire flop of a memoir where he heavily devoted it to exploiting his personal relationship with Britney, which she basically called flat out lies. So he also claimed that he wrote the scathing memoir to help her, saying basically it was for her own good, when it was clear that, as the day is long, I should say, that he wrote the book to make money off her. So miss me with the performative concerns because nobody is buying it. And now there was another story I had came across. Shout out to Rob Shorter over there at Naughty But Nice, but they were saying that the what really motivated Miss Britney to get her act together is her sons basically giving her, hitting her with an intervention. So they said Britney Spears is finally getting help, and insiders say it was all because of her sons. Sources tell, that's what he really said. Naughty but Nice that Sean Preston Federline and Jaden James Federline didn't just support her decision to enter rehab, they drove it. They gave her a reason to live again. Everything changed when she reconnected with her boys. Now, the turning point came after the recent DUI arrest, but it wasn't the headlines that broke through. It was her children. They sat her down and were brutally honest. Well, that's because they're both Virgos, and you already know what comes out of our mouth is brutal honesty, whether you want to hear the shit or not. So, they told her, "We need you. We want you healthy," and that hit her harder than anything. And he said the moment, according to insiders, was overwhelming. There were tears, real emotion. That was the moment she stopped running. For Britney, the reunion has been life changing. Now, being back with her sons lives in being back in her son's lives is everything to her. It's her priority now, not fame, not drugs, or anything else. And that clarity led to action. They said the arrest shook her, but her boys made it real. They made it matter. Now she's taking control, saying this was her decision, but they gave her the strength to make it. And they're not going anywhere. They said they're her anchor. She's doing this for them. And I did mention this yesterday when I talked about it before. I said, you know what? I really hope. Maybe I said what it was that her kids got to her in some sort of way, and maybe she's doing this because of her sons. Because I did notice that now that because it was Jaden was already in her life. We would see videos of and pictures of her of them on of him online with her, and they were hanging out and stuff. But I guess it wasn't until Sean finally came around, or she likes calling Preston. It wasn't until Preston came around and he came in her life, and now she's got both of her sons that maybe she feels whole in a way. And now they sat her down and was like, you know what? You up in here being a mess. You see this picture on the right, which it literally looks like it's something out of Weekend at Bernie's. Like they holding up a damn dead body. There's nothing, there's nobody home behind them shades. And they trying to make it say, oh, she's sober. She don't look sober there. She look like she out of it. And most recently with this last video she posted on Instagram, she didn't look like she was healthy either. And she was right in the mind. So I really hope that because she's finally stopped running because of all the trauma that she's had to endure from her no good ass family members, her fat ass sister, her no good ass mother, her asshole of a father, that bitch ass fat fuck of an ex husband of hers. And I'm talking about Kevin Federline because you know Sam is in shape. And all these people that was coming in and out of her life, where she was surrounding herself with the worst of the worst, and she was literally probably out here doing drugs and self-medicating to numb this pain because she was this hole that she couldn't fill within her regarding a lot of what she had to endure, having her sons taken away from her, the conservatorship, all that stuff. But at some point, you got to come to a period of you got to stop running away from your past. You got to stop running away from your demons and face them head on. And hopefully, Britney is in a place where she's finally ready to face her demons and take initiative and take control of her life again. Because I would have thought she would have found the strength to do that after the conservatorship. Because I'm like, girl, you free. Free Britney. And Britney's been freed, right? So you would think that at that point she would have been like, you know what, now I need to find the strength in myself and show that they done messed up by putting me in that conservatorship. And I guess at that time she was just dealing with so much and so overwhelmed with so much that she wasn't ready to deal. Coming out of the dark. She wasn't ready to come out the dark. And now she is. So hopefully this is legit. This is for real. And she's actually doing the work, not only just for her sons, but for herself. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Kevin Federline had to say? And this story from Robert Chateau was saying like, yeah, that she was given an intervention. Her sons basically sat her down and was like, they want you to live. They're here for you. They're not going anywhere. We really genuinely care about you. Because the one thing about Virgos, we ain't all that forgiving. But if we see potential in your ass, we gonna stick around a little longer than we need to. And I feel like because them boys have been burned in so many ways, they're trying to find their way into getting through to their mother because of all the damage that she's endured over the years from so many people taking advantage of her and beating her down and basically just dimming her light. And hopefully she finds her light again. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I hate you, not Gerber panties. That's what they be giving, like she wearing a damn diaper. Chris, I was side eyeing that Ruby Rose story yesterday. Now I'm finding out she's saying that Perry won't sue because she has photo evidence, police report filing eyewitnesses, and she got a US visa from it. Yeah, she said she got when I talked about the story yesterday, um that she said she stayed silent, she didn't know how to deal with it. Katy Perry helped her get a visa in America because she's Australian. And they said that Perry won't sue because she has photo evidence. Police report filing. Yeah, there was a couple of people that said that they were there at that nightclub that night, and Katie was being messy and very inappropriate and touching people inappropriately. There was a whole thing that came out that I was seeing that was people coming out with that too. And I said I kind of believe it because Katy Perry is known. Wasn't she inappropriate with Justin Bieber when he was a kid? When she was kissing all over him? So wouldn't be the first time. And I said nobody won't do anything because women can get away with stuff like that. Whereas he a hole for getting her pregnant, leaving her, taking the kids, etc. Well, he saw a gold mine because he was just some nobody backup dancer. The intervention is one of the most embarrassing things an addict can go through. It makes me sad to even think about Britney crying as her family reads letters to her. I'm wishing her the best. Well, the good thing is, what it was. I'm guessing that it's the sons that were just there. That it was nobody like Lynn wasn't there. Jamie, of course, wasn't there, and Jamie Lynn wasn't there. And Brian, I always forget she got a brother. It's kind of like I always forget Amy is part of the Osbournes because like when you don't hear from people, out of sight, out of mind. But I think like it definitely probably hits more at home when you get your own kids who are trying to find their way back into your life and your light, I guess. Sits you down and has this intervention. That definitely would sting. Katy Perry, a Scorpio, I believe every word. Those human resource wide eye, not human resource wide, had a lot of secrets. Said Katie did that shit allegedly. We may get another blackout. No shade. Were you thinking that she gonna come back and make music? Well, look, if she decides to go back out on tour and perform those hits, she ain't gonna make no money off it. Because they were just talking about that Justin Bieber's old albums and stuff started skyrocketing on the charts because of his Coachella performance. But he's not gonna make money off of those songs because he sold the damn music, which was stupid on your damn part. I would have just kept it. You know, it's like more people was coming out with allegations. So, Katie, you in danger, girl. We'll see how long that lasts, though. All right, y'all. So let's get back into the show and let's talk about Kanye. So it looks like y'all ain't letting y'all foot up off that man's neck because there's two stories that's coming out. You know, we got to talk about allegedly he's been accused of assaulting a guy at the Chateau Marmont in 2024, and there's another story that's coming out that's stating that he with the fallout what happened over in the UK, that might trickle down to France because now they're talking about banning him from France. But first things first, we'll get into the first story and then I'll combine with the other one. So Kanye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, is facing a civil lawsuit over an alleged physical altercation that reportedly took place at the Chateau Marmont in April of 2024, according to documents first reported by TMZ. The complaint filed by an unidentified plaintiff listed as John Doe accuses Kanye of battery and infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit claims the artist approached the man at his table and, without warning, punched him in the face. Can you imagine some fat, wide back queen, bitchy queen, comes up to you and just hits you for no reason? Oh, I'd have decked you right in your damn throat. Right here, like a hiya. Like that's what you would have got. You would have gasping for air. But anyway, now, according to the filing, the alleged impact knocked him to the ground where he hit his head and lost consciousness. The plaintiff further alleges that Kanye repeatedly punched him as he lay. Come on now, now you sucker punching, repeatedly punching somebody, escalating what he described as an unprovoked incident inside a well known LA venue. There should be witnesses, you think? The complaint also introduces a motive behind the alleged confrontation. The plaintiff claims Ye accused him of engaging in offensive and inappropriate conduct toward a woman who was part of his group. The lawsuit asserts that these accusations were unfounded and that Kanye later repeated and embellished these lies during a widely viewed podcast appearance, exposing plaintiff to public scorn, suspicion, and ridicule. The filing seeks unspecified damages related to physical injuries, reputational harm, and emotional distress. As of now, Kanye has not publicly responded to the allegations. Reps for the artist have not issued an statement addressing the claims. Now they said, look, this is adding to a growing list of legal challenges surrounding the artist, where we had now they're saying like where the outcome of this particular lawsuit will depend on further proceedings and any evidence presented in court, which is what I was about to say, is that, or I guess I could say on this is you guys got to bring the evidence in court above to a judge, and the judge is going to say either it's not, we're going to proceed, it's included, or they're going to toss it. I mean, what can we say? I mean, unless it gets to a situation where it's like this woman similar to Cardi B. Remember the Cardi B case where the security guard was basically filming Cardi at her doctor's appointment? And I was like, wait a minute, did she just violate a HIPAA law? Where I think she lost her job. It's like you're violating a HIPAA law, number one, where you're at work and you trying to film someone or take a picture or a selfie, whatever, at your job where someone's there getting medical care. That is not the vibe. And then there was a whole case around it, and Cardi ended up winning. So I just have to keep abreast of the story as it develops, because it's like, what do you say on this? It's like it's just your word against his. You said this man hit you, whatever, or maybe it'll fall in the favor of like what happened with. Remember when Nicki Minaj and her no good bum ass husband was out here beating up on security guards or a security guard, and he ended up getting a payout, and Nicki wouldn't pay it, and then they threatened to take her damn house that she's secluded in, and then she in the fifth hour, what they said, the 25th hour, at the butt crack of dawn, or at when time's about to run out, that sand in the hourglass about to hit the last piece of it about to hit the bottom of that damn thing, and the hourglass about to be empty on the side after you turn it over. She paid the man the money. And so maybe it'll be a situation like this. But yeah, I'll keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops. But in the meantime, now it seems like they still ain't letting up off Kanye, because he has more drama that he's having to deal with. First, the UK don't want nothing to do with his ass. And now France is saying, bitch, we about to ban your ass from here too. Now, after being blocked from entering the UK, Kanye West is now facing a potential ban from French authorities over his anti Semitic remarks. French Interior Minister Laurent Nunez is exploring legal options to officially ban the American rapper from performing at a June concert in Marseille, his office confirmed to the AFP news agency on Tuesday. The mayor of Marseille, Benoit Payan, has also made the position clear that the prospect of welcoming West in a social media post said, I refuse to let Marseille be a showcase for those who promote hatred and unapologetic Nazism. This is what Payan wrote on Twitter on March 4th. Kanye West is not welcome at the Velodrome, I think is how you say it, our temple of living together and of all Marseilles. Marseilles. Because that's how they spell Marseillais. But as the French newspaper Le Monde pointed out, citing France's highest administrative court, local state authorities can also ban a concert under strict conditions. Its statements at the event risk constituting a criminal offense and if public order is threatened. Now, Nunez had meetings last week with with the prefect of the Provence-Alpes Côte d'Azur region, Jacques Witkowski, as well as Payan, to determine what can be done on a legal standpoint to block the concert. Now, Rep for West did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. Now, in early April, the UK government, as y'all know, blocked West from entering the country after he was booked to headline London's Wireless Festival in July. Prime Minister Keir Starmer stated that West should never have been invited to perform and reaffirmed his government commitment to fighting anti-Semitism. While sponsors of the festival, including Pepsi, dropped out, West then issues a statement saying he was open to meeting with members of the UK Jewish community, but the festival was ultimately canceled. And it's funny, you said you wanted to meet with these people after the backlash. So what you should have did was put all this in place beforehand to try to smooth things over before you sign on the dotted line. But you thought by putting your little post out and taking an ad out that all was going to be forgiven. And you got people out here saying, well, it should be up to the people to decide. And you people seem to think that the world is for y'all. We are living in a time where this is a playground for the rich. We just bystanders in this shit. That's what it is at this point. We don't really have a say. When you have money, when you have power, when you have influence, then you have a say on where you can go and this, that, and the other. Well, he doesn't. But when you have government officials in place who can make decisions of whether or not you get to perform here, you get to perform there, it's not up to you. It's not up to you. You know, in the words of Bjork. So it's not up to you, sir. So and it seems like we at this point with Kanye that this fallout is continuing. So for all of y'all running around here talking about, well, how come Chili getting canceled and Chris Michelle and Kanye's out here performing at the SoFi Stadium. Yeah, he did 2 days at a damn stadium in Los Angeles and made a lot of money from it. But the fallout is still happening. So while America sits up in here and applauds and promotes, you know, abusers, rapists, child abusers, and things of that, and all kinds of white collar and blue collar damn criminals. While we have an administration that just floods their situation with this, and celebrities continue to just be allowed to get away with criminal shit. In other parts of the world, people are held accountable since we allergic to doing accountability shit over here in the United States. So he's getting what's coming to him all around the world. Maybe he could just do a residency at the SoFi Stadium to make up some money for that tight ass album that he just got coming out. But this is the latest on this story, and I'm sure the fallouts will continue the more he tries to travel to other parts of the world to make his money on performing and stuff in front of an audience. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story surrounding Kanye West being sued for sucker punching a dude at a hotel, and that there's a concert he was planning on performing at in France that is trying to ban him from entering the country. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mm, 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 mm. What's up with Gemini men and fighting? Shia LaBeouf was throwing bowls. It's because they bipolar. He said Paramount is removing the ads from anybody blocking the merger. They're also considering banning AMC theaters and other movie halls. Oh, okay, they're so stupid. Because first of all, you need theaters to play in movies, and regardless of how people feel about um their stock always falling down, AMC is still one of the most popular movie theaters out of all the movie theaters that we have, and that would be, Regal and some of the others. Jada Pinkett lied about the entanglement with August Alsina to look like the bad guy. Everybody is like, Will should have punched you because if you, well, look, he was out here trying to defend his wife. Wonder what's going on with Maggot Minaj. Well, it's probably a good thing that she quiet. I'm surprised she didn't come out and say anything when Cardi had brought out Meek Mill during the tour. I think that was the Philly stop. I was like, you trying to antagonize that lady. But yeah, she been quiet. It's better she stay quiet. He looks like a homeless. Well, look, there's always a method to my madness when I pick these photos. Does anyone remember? Oh, child. Of course, we remember Chris Sean. Yeah, what did happen to her? She out here being a mess. You know that child she got is slow, and that's your fault. Nobody told you to be drinking while pregnant. And then you had Carlissa, who came out here and just went and dragged her son on all over social media, finally acknowledging that he a bum, he stank, them bitches he be fornicating with and having up in his house, they pussy funky. She said all that stuff on social media. I was cackling, but I'm sitting there like, ma'am, you gave birth to him. So if you worrying about why your son is a mess and always worrying about and then always trying to ask his son if he's gay, when I think his daddy might be, and I'm sure he was probably getting that Bucci um hammered while he was behind bars. Hopefully you was wiping. Because don't nobody want peanut butter on their dick. Or as I like to say, a mudslide. Um, You the one that gave birth to the child. So if your son fucked up, that's your fault. But isn't Krishan still doing stuff with Zeus Network? First of all, speaking of which, we should have known this was gonna happen. Guess who now are part of the whole Zeus family? Brorilla. Yeah, Glorilla Bulldagger sister, the one that was out here trying to clout chase off her sister. Now she over there on the Zeus Network. Funny enough, when I was watching Funky Dineva yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I definitely see that happening. She said, you know what's going to happen? He said, you know what's going to happen? He's like, yeah, because of this, now you got them over on the Zeus network, which you know is, I like to call the nigga nonsense network, because that's all y'all got over there. When y'all could be uplifting black people, but no, y'all think putting mess and nonsense on there, that's going to get the ratings, which clearly it is, because y'all catering to the most ignorant of ignorant. And what's gonna happen now? She said that that girl gonna get a dating show. So yeah, y'all gonna see a big old stud with this bitch out here looking like Plies with a Caesar, and she gonna be up in there with a bunch of tuna salads. You know, the girls that be giving fish, full on fish, serving tilapia. And they gonna be the type of girls that she go, because I can't see Bro Rilla dating another damn stud. You know, she gonna be a stud dating a bunch of Portia Williams. That's what that's going. Shout out to all the bulldaggers out there. We live for y'all. He said, I just love that word, bulldagger. It's funny. Anyway, peanut butter head, kiss my no, it's the chunky kind. Cause you know y'all be eating corn and shit. I heard Bad Girls Club is yeah, it is. And that's what she's gonna be on, Baddies. That's what I meant to say. That's the show she's gonna be on with Tommy Lee, who allegedly was out here hunching jewels as in a salon son. I don't like how that man in lips. I don't like that man in lipstick who's been fired from every job he's ever had. Called. Oh, you talking about Funky Dineva? Oh yeah, that recent post that Funky Dineva posted about the guy. I said, look, quiet as his cat. Even though I thought that was just disgusting what you posted, I did laugh, and I was like, a lot of people was thinking it though. Yeah, he said they look like Bubba's. He said those Bubba Sparks kids. I said, not. First of all, leave Bubba Sparks alone, because I did love that song that he put out back in the day when he was working with Timbaland. So Bubba don't deserve that stray. I feel like Bubba walked so people like Post Malone and Jelly Roll can run. But anyway, now speaking of bulldaggers or people that look like one, let's talk about T.I. and Tiny's son King, who ended up getting himself arrested while wearing a Pokemon onesie. When I saw that, I cackled. I was like, you cannot be serious. But yeah, he was out here being a mess. And funny enough, I remember his father was recently on Ebro Laura Rosenberg and yeah, Ebro Lauren Rosenberg. That's what it's called. He was on the show promoting, I guess, his new music, and they did an interview. There was about 50 Cent, and then King called in. And he was sitting here talking about that King was getting on a straight and narrow and working things out and trying to be better against, because he was in a beef at the time with 50 Cent. Which, sidebar, I definitely can hear it now. If as of this post, I would not be surprised if 50 Cent already went on social media and started trolling this boy over his buffoonery. So Harris, the son of T.I. and Tiny Harris, as in King Harris, was taken into custody in Gwinnett County in the early hours of Sunday following a traffic stop that quickly escalated. Officers are said to have pulled him over at around 1 a.m. after allegedly spotting his vehicle traveling well above the posted speed limit, according to TMZ. This is what they reported today, which is Tuesday. Now, during the stop, police reportedly observed what appeared to be a firearm inside the car and instructed him to step out, an order he is said to have refused. Child, you out here trying to get pow pow out of cops? Are you dumb? But you know, this little boy's slow. So they said a search allegedly covered a vape pen said that contained THC. Wait, hold on. What's THC? Now I gotta look that up. What is THC Delta 9 tetra? That's a long word. Wait, tetrahydrocannabinol. Tetrahydrocannabinol. Okay, now I got it. You know, it takes me a second. Is that cannabis? And it said because it said like cannabinol. That's that cannabis is the primary psychoactive compound found in the cannabis plant, responsible for the high sensation, including euphoria and relaxation. It works by binding to cannabinoid receptors in the brain, affecting memory, pleasure, and time perception. THC is used both recreationally and medicinally, often for pain relief and nausea. Oh, I need to try that. Maybe I need to get me one of those pens. Y'all know some drug dealers? No, I'm just playing. Not really. But they said, okay, so where was I? After now we moved on from the jokes. He was subsequently booked on a felony drug possession charge, along with the misdemeanor count for allegedly obstructing officers and cited for additional traffic violations. Adding the unusual nature of the incident, Harris, who's 21, was dressed in a bright Pikachu onesie at the time of the arrest. Boy, why are you running around here in a damn onesie? Like, what are you, two? So yeah, hold on, because I want to pull up the mugshot for y'all in case y'all didn't see it. Yeah, that's how he out here looking. Like sideshow Bob, more or less than some damn Pikachu. Now, they said he was released from jail roughly 5 hours after the arrest. Now, the rapper appeared to document the ordeal on his IG stories, posting a selfie still wearing the Pikachu costume after being pulled over. He also shared a video of himself in the outfit on his account, writing in part, living a good Pikachu life in Tokyo, then come back to ATL and Team Rocket. He said, effing police, catch me with a master ball and throw me in jail all night. In a subsequent post, Harris uploaded another selfie, this time without the costume, while making the obscene gesture toward the camera. He also included a message directed at officers writing, fuck that police, and making a crude remark about an officer's wife. You know what? This little boy is spoiled. He's a brat. He needs his ass beat. I don't give a fuck. He's 21. You need to put him over your knee and you need to whoop his ass. That's what needs to happen. And that's probably what it is. He's spoiled. You know what's worse about a lot of these Nepo babies? Y'all be wanting to live that life so bad. It's like Tiny and Tip Clifford, if you're nasty, work their ass off from the slums of where they came from so that way they can provide their kids with a good damn life. And these little kids, brats like him, don't appreciate it because they want that street cred. And it's like, you ain't about that life, little boy. You from the deluxe houses in the sky, or whatever you want to call it, down in Atlanta. You've been living a posh life your entire life, but you want to live that thug life. Boy, you are not Tupac. So y'all need to stop. You need to calm down and stop trying to be this little bad boy. It's like you like the high yalla equivalent of Ray J. Y'all not about that life, but y'all be trying to play that life up. But you ain't about that life though, as I said. Now, they said in 2024, he was accused of nearly hitting a police officer's car at a Dunwoody gas station and was taken into custody after an officer reported smelling marijuana coming from the vehicle. He was later transferred to Pickens County on a bench warrant tied to a failure to appear in court over a 2022 traffic stop, alleged speeding and DUI. Now, those charges were ultimately dropped in August of 2025. The latest incident also comes after a previous flashpoint between Harris and his father, T.I., during a high profile outing in 2023. The pair were attending an NFL game at Mercedes Benz Stadium where tension spilled over inside a private suite. The Atlanta rapper, whose real name is Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., you had to say the whole government chair, had just taken part in a halftime performance marking the 50th anniversary of hip hop when what began as lighthearted banter with his son escalated. King streamed the confrontation live on Instagram as the situation turned physical. T.I. and Tiny Harris welcomed King in 2004, by which point the rapper had already achieved major success, including his platinum-selling album Trap Music. I forgot he was a rapper, but because he had been out here doing mess. And you know what's the worst part about all this? The first thing a lot of you young bucks do, and I know I sound old saying this, call them young bucks, like I'm that old, like I'm that damn old. But the thing I hate about this new generation is the fact that any little incident that happens, y'all always want to jump on social media with a fucking live stream so that way you can involve everybody who just innocent bystanders in this. You want to invite everybody in the group chat. And I'm sitting there like, everybody don't need to be in on a situation. Whatever's going on between you and your father or whatever the drama is, y'all sort that mess out amongst each other. Why you sitting there got to do a live stream and getting everybody involved so that way the blogs know about it? I'm over here talking about it, and then people in the comments making their comments about things that they don't even know what's going on because you're looking for sympathy and empathy. It's just the fact that I guess maybe because he's young and his frontal lobe hasn't fully developed, that this is the way he thinks. But it's kind of annoying if you keep this mess up, um, trying to live a life that you know you ain't really about. You end up 6 feet under fucking with these cops. They don't give a good goddamn you light skin. You black at the end of the day. They'll still have. I mean, I know your grandmother's a white woman, but because Tiny's mother's white, but you still not exempt from getting from the worst of the worst happening to you, regardless of if you were the son of a celebrity or celebrities. Then the article decides to go through how many damn kids T.I. and Tiny got between each other. So we don't give a damn. We already know. So now they said also in September 2021, T.I. and Tiny were cleared in connection of SA allegations after prosecutors declined to pursue charges due to the statute of limitations. One accuser had claimed the couple drugged and assaulted her after a nightclub meeting years earlier, while a separate allegation tied to an incident in Vegas in 2010 also did not proceed for the same reason. According responding publicly at the time, Tip denied the claims in strong terms, stating in an Instagram video all these disgusting anonymous allegations. He said, "Whatever we have done has been done with consensual adults in who into what we into and like what we like. Ain't nobody R-worded nobody, never R-worded nobody." So yeah, they admit they got an open relationship and they out here being freaks. Shout out to y'all. Look, there's a lot of people in relationship that wish they was out here being freaky deaky. I wanna get freaky with you. Y'all know that song? But anyway, I'll keep you guys abreast of this story as a development. King, get your shit together. Stop acting like a damn fool out here in these damn streets because you look like a damn fool with all of this going on. And got the nerve to try to be taken so damn seriously getting arrested in a damn Pikachu onesie. Like, where they do that at? Grow up. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? This silly story regarding King Harris getting locked up in a damn onesie. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Probably brought extra attention being in that. It's like y'all be liking these kids are it's not only they addicted to them drugs, but they addicted to that, that fame thing. Y'all like what the endorphins give with the going viral and all that mess. Oh, that shit's worse than crack. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. I tell you, my allergies have been kicking my ass. Earlier, I went out because I was craving coffee, and the Dunkin' Donuts, even though they still renovating it around the corner. They are open, so I can go over there and get a little something, something. So I had to give me my cold brew. And so when I went over there and it was 70 something degrees outside and nice and it's hot, and right now it's still 74 degrees. It's about to be 8 o'clock in a minute. Um, I went to the store, I was fine. Then all of a sudden I started sneezing like crazy. So the allergies are starting up because of the weather change. So I had to explain that so y'all don't be thinking I'll be doing this and I'll be on that booger sugar. But let me mute the mic because I ain't gonna be blowing my nose in the mic like some YouTubers do when they be on their damn show. They don't be considerate enough to mute the damn mic so people don't be hearing them blowing boogers into a damn tissue. So give me a second. He's back. Back in the New York groove. Yes, it is marijuana. Lord, the misdemeanor of you said the demeanor of T.I., but mm-mm. Hmm. He do look like Tiny though. We don't need 50 coming out starting his mess. He said it's really cold in Arizona. Give me that warm weather. Look, we've been waiting a long time for this damn warm weather. And this week is about to get hotter because I believe tomorrow is gonna be in the mid 80s. And it's not even summertime. Summertime. I don't know why I was thinking of Fantasia, because she sang that song in American Idol. Tears, THC pens, or what I become reliant on years ago, and I would stay away from them no matter how appealing the AI overview sounds. Me and some guys would bring them to school and never get caught. Well, these days, so many kids smoke um vape pens and all this other stuff. I'm like, how y'all be getting those? Because I would think that vape pens aren't they illegal for like young people to get them, but they get their hands on them and they because my sister works in um a high school. And she be telling me that these kids be shoving, they flush them down the toilet and everything. I'm like, y'all never heard of a garbage can? Like, why y'all flushing vapes down the toilet? I guess because it's not their toilet at home. But even then, if you was stupid enough to flush them shits down in your house toilet, I'm like, well, you gonna stick yourself down there and get them pins out because you're not gonna fuck up my goddamn pipes. If you stupid enough to do that, you gonna pay the bill. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's got addiction issues. So he definitely looks like and that's why I said the worst part about these young people getting caught up in the vaping, it's really hard to get off them. I always tell people they worse than cigarettes. But a weed vape is not bad because I used to do weed pens. And I did not get addicted to them. When I stopped, I stopped. That's good. It's funny how like when it comes to drugs, I can go cold turkey with that. I've never had that addicting personality when it comes to stuff like that. I could dabble and keep it moving. And that's I guess because that's more lightweight stuff. The one thing I will never touch is some heroin because I don't like needles and crack. Hell no. Although I did tell you that one time I ended up in a crack house because I blanked out on liquor. I was like, never again. And meth. I will never become a Methodist. Mm-mm. Hell to the no. And I've seen what that does. I've hooked up with guys who were under the influence of that. I was like, never again, because y'all be giving me straight out of Night of the Living Dead. In North Carolina, they sell THC pens in gas stations that any adult with an ID can buy them for any person underage with the money. That's how I got my hands on them and would hit them in bathrooms. Well, maybe because I'm the rare one out here. Like I don't give a good goddamn how much money you give me. I'm not contributing to your habit. If a kid asks me, can you buy me? Hell no. Nope. Ask the next one. I'm not gonna have that on my conscience. Maybe that's years of, growing up in Catholicism and I got that a little bit of that religious guilt. So it's like, nope, not I. But anyway, y'all, so we are down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four topics of the evening, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button if you haven't already. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Joey Fat One, or also known as Joey Fatone. So there's this docu-series that's on, I think it's on HBO Max, but it's also on the ID channel is a part of HBO Max or whatever. So if you have that, you can pretty much see it there. But anyway, they have this docu-series called Boy Band Confidential. The first part aired yesterday. I didn't get around to watching it because I totally forgot. And tonight, I don't know if it's out already, but part two comes out tonight. So Joey Fatone's on there and he talked about a couple of things, including the fact that, because one of the things I've always wondered is that post NSYNC, how have a lot of the singers or performers from there, how do they survive post NSYNC? Because the one that was out here making the real money maker was Justin Timberlake because he went solo, he had the big career. Then the other four were kind of going off, I guess, doing their own thing in other ways. Well, Joey Fatone is getting candid, and he revealed that he struggled a bit post NSYNC. So NSYNC did not sing "When the Lights Go Out," "Baby When the Lights Go Out." Remember that song? Who sang that song? Was it Five? I'm trying to think of who sang that. Who? Wait, damn, now you're gonna make me look that up. Who sang which boy band? I was like, no, not what was Justin Timberlake, and I don't give a shit about that. Sang when the lights go out, was right, it was 5. I was like, wait, what's 5? Because I was like, I remember that group. Look, Slam Dunk the Funk, that was my shit back in the day. So I was like, wait a minute, was it 5? I just had to double check. Yes, it was them. And I used to have the biggest crush on Abs. I don't know if y'all knew that group, but look it up. Them back in the Abs was fine as fuck. And that was because he had the little piercings and stuff. I was like, oh, he the cute. I always had a thing for like the bad ones. So let me bring it back. So now, an exclusive sneak peek from Tuesday's episode of ID's new docuseries, Boy Band Confidential, on which Fatone serves as an executive producer. The boy bander opens up about nearly going bankrupt after NSYNC went on indefinite hiatus in 2002. During NSYNC's heyday, the singer purchased a 10,000 square foot house on damn, that's a lot, on 4 acres. But I guess when you financially illiterate and you're not somebody, when you're young and you're thinking like, oh yeah, I need something major because we're going to be touring forever. But of course, when you chirped up in um Justin's brain of you need to go solo and all this other stuff, because remember Lance said that he didn't like Diddy because Diddy was all up in Justin's ear about the whole solo thing. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Joey said recently where they were saying, they were trying to deny that NSYNC was going on tour with a reunion tour, and they were saying like, is Justin the reason why the tour is not happening? Like he's holding things up, and they said, and he pretty much said, you ain't you're not wrong in thinking that, which I've always said that at the end of the day, it's always Justin that's been holding up this whole tour thing happening, or the reunion tour, because they're at the mercy of him, because they feel like, yeah, he was the star. He ain't the best singer. JC was the strongest singer, no shade. But Justin had, I guess, the charisma and the personality. And yeah, he had that little high ass voice of his, but um I guess he was like, he had the boyish good looks, and the music industry can work with that. And Justin was hungry. So when you have all those things when you can mix it in, that's a perfect combination of being the perfect breakout pop star. Like Beyonce, she was hungry. That's why she, became way she is. She wanted it better more than anybody else. He said money was coming in. I asked my accountant, hey, are we good? Yeah, we're great. I'm okay to buy this house, right? He goes, your kids will be fine. Now he's saying that as if money was probably still coming in. Fatone says in the clip, you got 10 years, you go 10 years later after that conversation. And when I go to the new accountant, I say, hey man, can you look at my finances and what's going on? He goes, you need to get out of that house or you're going to go bankrupt. I went, I'm sorry, what? It all came to a head when his holiday celebration suddenly got interrupted. He said there was one point during Christmas that they shut off the lights. Oh, that's the shadiest thing. Like on Christmas of all, they like, I don't give a fuck. You ain't pay that bill. Oh well, you going to have your Christmas lights. You're just gonna be in the dark that night. A black Christmas tree. So then it said that there was one point during Christmas they shut off the lights to my house because I didn't pay the bill. I almost was going to go bankrupt, and I have a family. This is when I am married. I have 2 kids. These are certain things that happen in normal people's lives as well. But then you have got to figure out, for me, how do I do this without the public even watching of what's going on? The shutoff happened where before presents were open, Fatone told Entertainment Weekly. It was horrible. I had family over in my house. Good thing I had the water. But the power just went pew. He recalls it was actually in the afternoon. We're cooking Christmas Eve dinner kind of thing. So all my family was there, cousins and aunts, and I was like, we need to call these people up right now to get this thing back on. This is not smart. In the doc, Fatone reveals that he turned to others to alleviate his financial woes. He said, I was asking people for money. These were people who had the most money in life, but they all declined to help. He then had to put my tail between my legs as a man to try to figure this out. The Nandas with the Stars alum ended up selling his house and moving his then wife, Kelly, to whom he was married from 2004 to 19, and their daughters, Brianna and Chloe, in with his parents for a year. He said, I lived in Vegas for almost a year, busting my ass to slowly build back up kind of a career in a sense. And thank goodness, Lord, things were able to roll. Things came out better. He said the incident was a big eye opener for him. This is what he told Entertainment Weekly. Now, like many other stars who skyrocketed to fame, he was ill equipped to handle what comes next after the spotlight shifts to the next big thing and money stops rolling in like it used to. He said, I was never taught anything as far, did not say financial illiteracy. A lot of people don't really understand um, finances. And I'll even admit I'm not really good with finances either. I'm not really good with money. I mean, I wish I had people in my life. I mean that would help me with that. But I do have a father. He does. I said I do have a father. I do. He deals with my taxes and all this other stuff, but he's never really like taken the time to really show me financial things and bills and all this stuff. I had to kind of figure that out on my own, or when I had roommates, they would help me out with things of that nature. So that's how I learned. I never really learned those things. And I wish that there were resources like in schools, like high schools, where they always set you up to learn all this educational stuff and go out in the world, and then you're pretty much trying to figure out the world on your own. But I wish that they were like our education system would teach kids how to balance a checkbook, how to open up an account, how to do all the little things, how to pay your bills and figure all those things out and all that stuff. They don't teach you these things. And I think that that's what they need to do that. So he said, I was never told anything as far as financials and what you really need to do. And the accountant that I had was not the brightest person to help me out. They were always the ones going, don't worry, you're going to be fine. You're making so much money. Well, probably because they were making money as well. And when you're fucked, they can move on to the next one. Meanwhile, you're screwed and your finances are a mess. The Anne Juliet alum's tale is one of the many vulnerable stories he and his fellow boy banders recall on the doc that explores the ups and downs of superstardom and coming out on the other side. He says, you see the end of the doc, how everyone does have an outcome, and I like how it's positive. It's not 100% all positive, let's be real. It's life, and people still going through the struggles mentally and physically, but everybody has literally gone, you know what? I was a teen then. I learned certain things. I know I have to get over these certain humps and keep moving forward, Fatone, who's 49, says. And I think that's, for me, one of the other stories to get out there and go, you know what? There's always light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what way or which way you go. Even me almost filing for bankruptcy. So, well, it's telling us the time. They said that bad Boy Band Confidential, it airs on tonight, April 14th at 9 p.m. on Investigation Discovery, and the episodes are also available on HBO Max. So if I get around to it, I'll definitely try to check out both parts today. But I'm busy trying to catch up with so many damn things as it is. But I definitely want to check that doc out. And if any more stuff comes out about it, who knows? I'll get around to watch it and I'll bring it up on the show tomorrow and all that good stuff. So good luck to you, Joey. Even though there's rumors around here that he's a MAGA. I gotta look deep into that to find out that about that too. But yeah, I'm definitely to see where all of our fellow boy banders are up to and all that good stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what Joey Fatone had to say? Or have you even checked out the first part? Or by the time I post this up, have you checked out the second part? Once I cut the clip up and post it, have you checked out both parts of Boy Band Confidential? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. We learned there was another. Oh yeah, I did hear about that. That they said there was another member of NSYNC. I didn't talk about. I think Daily Mail had that story. He read the contract and was like, hell no. See, he was smart. He was like, oh, I saw that contract, and the rest of them was like, I want to be famous so bad. I guess they was willing to just deal with what came with that. And you saw the drama that NSYNC had to go through in regards of money and and all that good stuff. So the kid who was supposed to be an NSYNC, he was smart. Very curious to find out about him. I guess he's in the doc too. Okay, now speaking of NSYNC, let's talk about Lance Bass because we were talking about Joey Fatone earlier, but now Lance Bass, who also was in the documentary Boy Band Confidential, it recently did an interview where he spoke about what had happened when Joey Fatone had found out that Lance was a homosexual. So But hold on, I was like, where is? I hate when I can't find something that I'm looking for. Okay, I got it. So yeah, this is what okay, thank you. I was like, why is the picture taking so long to upload? So Bass and Fatone both spoke of the moment in an interview for Fatone's upcoming docu-series Boy Band Confidential, with a clip from the series being shared by USA Today on the 13th of April, saying, we go out one night, we all go back to Lance's house. I pass out in one of the guest bedrooms. I wake up at like 3 in the morning. I'm like, I gotta leave. I go to his bedroom, open the door, there's nobody in there. He explains how he went to check Bass's office, saying, I opened the door and he's sitting there, and there's this guy. Girl, he said, there's this guy straddling on top of him. Let me find out that Lance is a top. He definitely gives top boy energy. Bass continued the story. I was at my computer, and my boyfriend at the time, my very, very first boyfriend, was sitting on my lap. As per the story, Fatone got quiet and apologized for walking in, but Bass encouraged Fatone to enter the room so they could talk. I was like, surprise. He said, oh, please, I don't care, said Bass. I knew he wouldn't care, but it was just so nice to hear those words and finally have one of the members of your group know and be like, I don't care. Now, I wonder how the rest of them felt. When Bass asked Fatone to keep the news to himself, Fatone was more than happy to oblige. I go, Lance, I love you, Fatone recalled. I said, you're my brother. You let me know when it's right for you to tell. I'm not saying nothing to the guys. It's funny how you have somebody so progressive that would think like that, especially back in those days, where it's like, oh yeah, like I don't care, I got you. But I guess maybe because Joey is from the theater, and you around all them gays, so maybe in so many ways he's used to it. Now, Bass eventually publicly came out as a homosexual in 2006 in an interview with People. At the time, he said, I knew that I was in this popular boy band and I had four other guys' careers in my hand. And I knew that if I ever acted on it or even said that I was a homosexual, he said gay, um, it would overpower everything. And that's always the burden that unfortunately queer, closeted artists have to carry. It's like, I'm a part of this ensemble, and even if you're not even a part of an ensemble, if you're a solo artist like Ricky Martin and so many others, it's like I have this huge thing on my shoulders. I have all these people that are depending on me. They're making money off me. They're in my employ. My career's taking off. I'm getting everything I finally want, but I can't be my true, authentic self and be out and comfortable as a out and proud gay man. So now I have to keep this burden, this thing buried, and not a burden because I don't think it's not a burden, but I have to keep this thing buried deep within because I don't want to I don't want this to mess it up for everybody else, including myself. So it's unfortunate we have to deal with that. But that's all fear mongering. That's all because the industry is always worrying about what other people think, and that the kids aren't going to want to support a group that has a gay member in it. But that's all that hokey crap. Most of the kids don't care. If they like, if you they part of their favorite little group or whatever, excuse me, that's what they're here for at the end of the day. But that's all that Hollywood mumbo jumbo. They don't want to have. They're worrying about shareholders and all that crap. So, um, he said, I didn't know. Could that be the end of NSYNC? So I had that weight on me of like, wow, if I ever let anyone know, it's bad. So I just never did. Now, Fatone also contributed to the interview, speaking in support of Bass for his sexuality and his decision to come out. He said he took years to really think about how he was going to tell everyone. I back him up 100%. So it's good to see that you have somebody in your corner that genuinely loves and cares about you. But like I said before, I'm genuinely curious to find out, how did Chris take it? How did JC take it? How did Justin take it? So, um, I'd be curious to hear about all that tea, but who knows? We'll see how far. I mean, if they mention any of that in the doc, if they haven't already. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Lance Bass sharing a moment regarding Joey Fatone discovering by accident that Lance was one of the girls? No, I'm just like not one of the girls. That he likes men of the same, well, people of the same gender. So, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Even Justin knows JC is the knows JC's the better singer for Richard Marks revealed to Lance and JC. Oh yeah, I saw that documentary, that podcast that while Richard was producing this, I promise you, Justin only watched JC when the members recorded their part because he was trying to compete. It's the same thing like when they were saying that story about Justin feeling relatively insecure when he was on the Mickey Mouse Club because he wanted to be sort of like the comedic, like the comedy guy and whatever, and wanted to do the jokes and all this stuff. Like, but Ryan Gosling was the one who was really out here giving him a run for his money because Ryan Gosling is naturally funny. And we've seen him do bits and things of that nature where he's relatively funny. When he's done interviews, when he's done SNL, he definitely kills it. So when you got people out here deeply insecure, we definitely know, like, yeah, JC was the better singer. All right, y'all. So now, let's get into some homosexual news. And let's talk about Cade Maddox, the adult film star who turned out to be the official they're doing a what do they call it? Like a big dick energy issue or something or another. And they didn't show his face or whatever, but they did the sleuths for sleuthing and found out that he is apparently the face behind it. Yes, the big dick energy issue, as I said. So Playgirl magazine just released its new Big Dick Energy issue on April 2026. On the cover is a mystery muscle-bound male model, and the hunky stud on the cover is none other than gay adult film star Cade Maddox. Now, nearly 10 years after into his impressive career as an adult performer, the handsome model is now well, the body is still bodying, but the face is looking like it's pushing 50. But is now like a little moisturizer goes a long way. Post it on it, but when white people lack melanin, this is what happens. Maybe it's that California dryness, that heat. So anyway, so hailing from Mississippi, Maddox has come a long way since his early days in the closet. The Southern gentleman has starred in countless adult films over the years and have also earned him a slew of awards. After growing up in a very religious household, it's funny how a lot of adult performers tend to come from religious households. Navigating a divorce and to a military man and moving back in with his conservative family at nearly 30 years old, Maddox changed his entire life once he went to his first audition as an erotic performer. He said it's very surreal. Instead of fighting or denying what was coming my way, I just decided to say yes, and it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. It turned out really good, and now I'm able to support myself. This is what he told Out. Now, Maddox is one of the rare entertainers who built a very strong fan base that's supported him since his humble beginnings. In fact, his family is even more has wait, it said has even come around to accept his success as a notable adult performer. So there's been some incidences where my family needed help and I was able to help them out. And really, that really just made them see that I've found a lot of success in this, and I'm happy. At the end of the day, those are the two things that really matter. I also had to stop as I say this. They lean on you because you was making so much money doing what I mean, he do got a big dick. And great body, everything, he's got that all-American Southern boy look. And so with him coming in and making money in the adult cinematography world, and the fact that he can afford to take care of y'all, yeah, now y'all got to shut the fuck up and eat crow, and y'all can't come in because he's like, well, look, that thing you frowning upon with me, it got you out of financial restraints and helped you get your ish together or get you back on your feet. So you can't say nothing because my money got you out of a dire situation. And he also went on to say one of the reasons Maddox had maintained his popularity is thanks to his unbelievable physique that continues to shock fans all over the world. He said, I actually feel in better shape than I've ever felt in my life. We are so aware of what we put in our bodies now. We look at the ingredients for everything. I learned that early on. If you take care of your body in this industry, everything else will fall into place after that. Your main job is to take care of your body. So shout out to Cade. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you definitely can. If you want to check out the Playboy article, Playgirl article, you can definitely head over to my website, chrisavalon.com. It's the stuff is there along with them and not safe for work pictures of him and that heavy ass penis. He has, because in Child, if you've seen it, it definitely looks like it's heavy. Like if you smack somebody upside the head with it, you might get a concussion. So shout out to Cade, and hopefully all of that we see in here is like natural, like him working hard at the gym and not, you know, given to you in the form of a needle. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Cade Maddox posing for Playgirl and dishing on his decade-long career? Because he's almost been in the industry for 10 years. I think it's been 9 years. So yeah, whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Onyx says his coming out story is one of the most moving I've heard. He's also an inspiring tale of a guy from a red country southern state making it to Hollywood. Dream level. All right, Mariah. You know what? We need a remake of Showgirls, but a male version, and then you know we'll do that story. The southern guy that came from a red country, a red state, who moved to a blue state and made something of himself and got in the world of porn. All right, y'all. So now let's get to our final topic. And let's talk about Life's Still Unfair, this new Malcolm in the Middle reboot. Now, I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I definitely want to check it out. But apparently, Stevie, who y'all remember was the kid that was in the wheelchair and the big old bifocal glasses, that was wasn't that Malcolm's friend? They used to talk, you know, he used to talk like this. That used to crack me up. I never used to try to laugh at that, but it was just like Stevie was a cackle on that damn show. And the way they would do him, like some of the scenes was very funny. But the guy that plays him, child, he got cute growing up. But I was not expecting him to look the way he looked. But um, apparently, his character is queer on the show, or he's in a relationship with a dude. And the snowflakes are now upset because they said Stevie was in the girls when he was little. Now he's older. Now y'all with that woke shit. Y'all made him into dudes as if so we're going to do bi erasure on this in on social media. Like people can't be bisexual. He can't be into girls when he was younger, but then he got older. He started to come more to terms with his same sex attractions and is now acting on it because now he's married to a man and has a child. So that's we just going to just omit that. So the Disney Plus Malcolm in the Middle reboot premiered last week, but one update has made some fans of the original angry. After Craig Lamar Taylor returned as Stevie Carnaban, I think is how you say his name, Malcolm's friend, and it was relieved that is in a relationship it was revealed, sorry, that he's in a relationship with a man and together they have adopted a son. Now, Malcolm in the Middle, Life Still Unfair, also introduced the titular character's non binary sibling, Kelly. Malcolm's mom, Lois, fell pregnant with Kelly in the original. Yeah, because she was pregnant in the series finale, and now they have a sister who identifies as non-binary. And while many have applauded the revived show for its inclusion of LGBTQ plus characters, it has upset some purists who complain it has changed too much. You mean evolved, because that's what real humans do. They evolve. Not say, oh, y'all just changed this up because y'all want to woke and all this other stuff. We already know how a lot of you snowflakes have hijacked the word woke and have made it a negative term, meaning that anything that's different, that is outside of whatever your comfort zone is, you want to call it woke. Now, discussing Stevie once said on Twitter, wait, why is Stevie gay? He literally was into girls as a kid. What the fuck? Another said, "No way they made Stevie gay in the new Malcolm in the Middle. I will not be watching woke, a whatever. I don't even know what this word. I mean, what they were trying to say." Now, someone else said they made the Malcolm in the Middle reboot woke as fuck. Y'all getting on my nerves with this woke as fuck shit. Stevie is a gay female looking. Lois and Hal have non-binary daughter. Probably more to come. And if you don't want to watch, then don't. But here's the thing, when y'all try to watch these shows, if you're expecting what was, then go watch the old episodes. The old episodes of Malcolm in the Middle exist on Hulu, and I'm sure Disney Plus, since it's all under the same umbrella. Watch the old episodes. Live vicariously through your nostalgia. But the reality is, if you're going to give a sequel of sorts to a series that you grew up liking when you were a kid because of what the times were, if we've evolved into the next era of them being adults and how they're living their life, this is the way the world is, and or this is the way their world is, and they want to make it inclusive. And Stevie is now exploring, or now in a relationship with a man then how you gonna sit up and say, well, he was in I mean, and quiet as it's kept, y'all seem to forget there was a time where boys would sit up and over conversations about how much they love women, whatever, and all this other stuff, but deep down, there may be some same-sex tendencies that he was keeping secret and was overcompensating on the heterosexualness to hide his homosexuality. It's like you can't are people just like struggling to really take the time to think in a nuanced way instead of just being so wrapped up in your bigotry that you can't even think critically. So now, I don't even care what these people had to say or whatever. Now they said now for every person complaining about the revival, there were plenty that others defending the changes. One says Stevie being gay, a dad, and with piercings and stretched earlobes, and married to a white man is the most wonderful. Oh Lord, here we go, because now y'all gonna get people started. We got to about he's married to a white man is the most wonderful thing they could have done. The beauty of a scene, the best character development, love it. Because you already know the discourse surrounding about it. Every time y'all have black queer people in a movie or a TV show, whatever, they always got to be married to somebody white. I mean, that's the other conversation. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Another cheered because when you put it in that context, that's going to be a trigger for a lot of people when you say married to a white man. Another cheered Stevie is gay. He has a husband and they have a son together, and I couldn't be happier with this decision. And anyone who doesn't like it, come at me one by one. I've got enough for all of you. That's how I be feeling when I be out here reading all of y'all on social media. A third wrote on Twitter, Stevie is gay, Kelly is non-binary, Malcolm's friends are in a gay polyamorous relationship with the kid, and if you don't like it, you can go cry about it. No one cares. Meanwhile, others pointed out that there hasn't been an explicit label put on Stevie. One said they made Stevie have a relationship with a guy, but no word regarding his sexuality. Could be bi, pan, or whatever. Another said people who don't understand Stevie being bi don't understand Stevie's character. And that's why I said y'all call gay, because y'all think because you've seen somebody in a same-sex relationship, automatically you run to the gay thing. They didn't state what his sexuality is. Yes, he's married to a man, he's in a polyamorous relationship with someone, and he has a kid, which is pretty progressive if you think about it, because this is not something that is usually explored on a TV show, but it's getting y'all talking, and we're talking about it here. Now, Craig Lamar Taylor, a trailer, sorry, spoke at the premiere about returning, admitting he had been scared because so much time had passed since he first played Stevie. So I do have that clip of him talking over on Instagram. Hold on as I pull that up. And we will come back and we will talk. Please hold.
They said, when you sit down in your role, it's going to feel like you never left. And I was like, okay, I guess. They said, run it, and it didn't feel like anything stopped. Everybody that had already shot was like, hey, have you done your scenes yet? And I was like, no, I haven't. And they said, how do you feel? I was like, I'm scared. I haven't done it since I was 16 years old. I was like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. And everybody had the same sentiment. They said, when you sit down in your role, it's going to feel like you never left. And I was like, okay, I guess. They said, run it, and it didn't feel like anything stopped. Everybody that had already shot was like,
okay, so I just want to play it again in case, because when I went and clicked over, I realized I didn't hit the things. I wasn't sure if y'all heard the full thing, so I just played it twice. But anyway, so yeah, that's what he said, and I'm like, okay, Kevin, how you doing? And he said, so look, one thing I think one people need to realize what Malcolm in the Middle is always celebrating being an other, and in that it's so human, so real, so familiar, and um that's what the show has always been about. So if y'all just been watching just for the hijinks or the crazy slapstick moments, you really don't understand what the show has been about this entire time. And like I said, go look, if this is gonna bother you because you're seeing different or something's making you uncomfortable because you probably got those tendencies and you have yet to work them shits out in your own private time, then that's something you gotta deal with on your own time. Go argue with your mama, go argue with your pappy, go argue with your pastor, because we don't give a fuck. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you watched this new season of Malcolm in the Middle yet? What do you think of the show so far? I haven't gotten around to checking it out, but I will. The last thing I watched script wise that I told y'all the other day I just binged was Daredevil Born Again. I just caught up on the last 4 episodes. So and I'm someone who's a binger anyway. I don't like to do the whole week to week show thing. So, I don't even know how many episodes of Malcolm in the Middle they dropped. Or did they just drop the whole season? I'm hoping they're doing week to week. So maybe I'll just wait a couple of episodes and I'll just catch it that way. So, but anyway, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Shit. Excuse me. I saw the show. He's still talking that same. Oh yeah, how I was doing on the show. Was like I'd be lightheaded doing that if Bryan Cranston doesn't take his ass back to AMC and wear his not trying to get him to go back to doing what doing Breaking Bad. That was my show though. Squint your eye. Does Stevie not look like the they kind of have that same vibe though. As for Stevie's gayness, many gay bi folks seem into the opposite sex as teenagers, myself included, then come out gay bi in their adulthood. Those complaining need to pull their head out of it. Exactly. So it's like, y'all just think that, what y'all don't think people just, y'all think that people just stay the same as, like there's some time frame that time just freezes and people aren't moving on and things aren't evolving while you're still stuck in whatever past that you want to stay in. If that's where you want to stay, then you stay there. So, have you ever met or run into? No, I actually haven't. Not. I've never seen or ran into Davy Wavy. Or maybe I have. I just don't remember. But no, I've never actually met him. Drag Race YouTube. Green. What is that? Green Gay is planning on releasing a video titled "You'll Regret the Way You Treated Madonna." Interesting. He also plans on releasing while Ariana Grande was the last pop star. Child, she might be. Malcolm in the Middle is 4 episodes. They put it all on at one time. Oh, so it was only 4 episodes? So they're all out. I guess I will watch then, now that it's one and done. That's probably where all this tea was coming out, why everybody's upset. All right, y'all. So now, all right, it's a 3 hour show. We at the end of the show. Yesterday I gave y'all a 5 hour show. Now we cut it down 2 hours. All right. We're at the end of the show. Thank you all for checking out today's crazy episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you can, please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode. It's gonna be a dark day at the garden, so I'll be available to work and to give y'all another show. I will be there back at work on Thursday, and then I still got to figure out. Okay, so when is the playoffs? Because I'm supposed to be getting my schedule for that already. Speaking of which, I need to check my phone to see if they released it yet. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode, Lord willing. There's some good topics to spill, but yes, hit that like button and subscribe, smash the notification bell. Love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and until next time, ciao, darlings.